Hello, I'm Vladimir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Weta, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Vladimir, I'm out.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope what's today? Monday. Hope your Monday is going well. Well, it's Monday. Well, it is Monday here in Atlanta, Georgia. So whatever day it is, wherever you're at, I hope you're having an awesome day. So happy to be here. So thankful to be here. Especially, those who've been rocking with me since the beginning. When I used to wear the funny shaped glasses. Remember those? The funny shaped glasses? I appreciate you guys for being here and supporting. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure USA imposed sanctions on ICC officials when ICC tried to charge USA leaders for war crimes in Iraq and Afghanistan. USA was first to undermine ICC authority. Look it up. Oh, wow. So we'll get into today's topic here shortly, but hit the like button. And if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, again, if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, please go to searchforuhuru.com. Please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. I will greatly appreciate it. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and cop the documentary. And I will greatly appreciate it. Please support, family. Again, please support. I don't be asking for super chats, even though I would appreciate the super chats. I would love the super chats. But I like, to exchange, a product or service for your guys' hard-earned money. So therefore, go buy a documentary. If you already bought the documentary, buy another copy and pass it to your family and your cousins and your sisters, your uncles, your neighbors. Everybody on your block, in your community, should have a copy or access to In Search of Uhuru. So please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Tours, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. Listen, we leave in about 2 weeks. Guys, what's today? What's today's date? The 3rd? Guys, what's today? The 3rd or the... Yeah, today's the 3rd. So next 2 Wednesdays, we're leaving in 16 days. 16 days, we are heading to Sierra Leone. In 16 days, we are heading to Sierra Leone. And we will love to have you guys. Again, we will love to have you guys. So please go to Danfo, DANFO .Africa. Again, please go to Danfo, DANFO .Africa. And and learn more about, I'm thinking about the documentary, and learn more about what we are doing. So again, please go to Danfo.Africa to learn more about Sierra Leone, April 19th through 30th. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Again, citizenship is available to those who qualify. Also, we're going to Senegal in May for the Jazz Festival. That's May 21st to the 30th, in Nigeria in August. That is August 6th through the 15th. And then we got Zanzibar in November. That's November 12th through the 21st, I believe. But everything's on the site. Go to Danfo, DANFO.Africa. You can go to Danfo, DANFO.Africa to learn more. Hello, Willa. It's been a minute. How are you, Willa? It's been a minute. So let's jump into today's topic. Again, let's jump into today's topic. So the ICC, International Criminal Court, they want Vladimir Putin arrested, sent to jail for what's going on in the Ukraine. So there is a BRICS meeting, like a summit in June, I believe, in South Africa. And the ICC, they want South African authorities to hand over Vladimir Putin when he arrives in South Africa. But that's going to be a problem. I don't think, I know from my understanding, the South African government, they're looking to get clarity on, hey, do we really have to turn them over? But then also too, you have leaders like Julius Malema of the ANC. I'm sorry, the EFF. I apologize. The EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters, who saying, listen, we're not giving up Vladimir Putin. Why should we? What has Vladimir Putin done to us? You know, he says, we know our friends, we know our enemies. You know, Vladimir Putin is not an enemy. So let's go ahead and play. Let's go ahead and play this video. And we'll jump right into it. And I'll give you my commentary. And then we'll open up the lines. And you guys are more than welcome to call in and add to. I got so many windows open. And you guys are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Oops, wrong device is on. Let me switch this up. There we go. Sorry about that. And you guys are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation.
We don't want ICC's hypocrisy to apply here in our country. President Putin is welcomed. We know our friends. We know the people who liberated us. We know the people who supported us. In Kutokonaval, the weapons that were used in Kutokonaval that led to the liberation of South Africa were coming from Russia. Russia supplied us with weapons in Kutokonaval. Cuba supplied us with soldiers. MK was drunk. Cuba brought the soldiers. Russia brought the armaments. We were supposed to be the ones that are being complimented and supported by these other countries who were found wanting.
Hold on, there was another video I wanted to play too. Give me 1 second. And then we'll open up the lines here shortly, and you guys can call in and add to the conversation.
Hi, the world is
'Shedding. Three days towards the shutdown, it was used to demobilize people. That's why they didn't take it away. It was used to demobilize people. Imagine if we're at load shedding stage 6 and there's a protest outside about load shedding. Apart from wanting to join it because you are conscious about it, but the fact that you are bored, you're going to have to sit for so many hours without electricity, you'll automatically join. They used that and then said, no, we can't. Whatever you do, please make sure the lights are on. And I said to Dr. Mbwiseni, I was praying, I said to him, I pray that they don't respond to this pressure by keeping the lights on beyond the capacity of the grid, because they are under pressure and it collapses the grid. Because they were so desperate to keep the lights on to a point that they had potential to collapse the grid. I mean, this thing that you're asking us about, the house that was burnt, where the neighbors, bombed, where the neighbors had something, boom, the house fell. You want to reduce us to Netflix now? We don't make movies. We're engaged in real struggle, not go. So please, we are not part of that mess. If a person says to you as journalists, my entire family is dead, and then you go there, it's a very concerning thing. It comes out, it's a lie. Why would you still take anything from that person? Why would you do that? Such a serious statement of my entire family is dead. And then you still want to ask us about the same person? Anything that comes from that mouth has a potential of being a lie. I'm going to arrest Malema. It's a lie. My entire family is dead. It's a lie. It's a lie. ICC, Putin is welcomed here. And no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will finish all his meetings. We'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world.
All right, I'll put the link in the chat room. Again, I will put the link in the chat room. And you guys are more than welcome to call in. To add to the conversation. Again, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. And we will take a quick commercial break. We will be right back.
Learn the ins and outs of IT and launch your IT career in just a matter of weeks with the help of Lifting the Veil IT Academy.
I took Lifting the Veil Academy with some. Took a while, but I'm here. I made it. I'm now an SSRS developer. I started on the 13th, making a rate of $48 an hour.
Sign up for a free consultation and see where this industry could take you.
To learn more, go to www.ltvacademy.com. That's www.ltvacademy.com.
In honor of Black History Month, my books and ebook will be $2 off. Purchasing is available at www.saycarry.com. And you can also use my website to contact me regarding questions, comments, or to book speaking engagements. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Alexis here, coming to you with an awesome sale of 25% off when you use promo code OHURU25 at alexisfowler.com.
I provide services like digital art, logo designs, packaging designs, web designs, social media flyers, and much more. If you're an entrepreneur with a business or a startup company, make sure you take advantage of this opportunity,
getting 25% off when you use promo code OHURU25 at alexisfowler.com.
All right, links in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, please click on the link. Again, if you want to call in and add to the conversation, please click on the link. Yeah, I mean, would Putin even need the EFF as bodyguards? Like, would he even ask for the EFF? Ask the EFF for protection? I'm pretty sure the Putin's bodyguards and Secret Service is pretty on point. I don't know if there would be a need for the EFF, but that's a good gesture. It's an excellent gesture. Once again, it is an excellent gesture, and he means well. So, why wouldn't he want? I mean, it's there. The option is there. There we go. The option is there. If Putin needed some additional manpower, he has the EFF. But I think South Africa. Let me try to find it. South Africa was seeking legal clarity on if what would happen if they don't turn Putin over. Like, what would happen if they don't turn Putin over? Like, what can happen? Excuse me. Yeah, so that's what South Africa's trying to find clarity on. And to be honest, again, all of this is just reactionary when it comes to the U.S. and how all of a sudden they care about Africa. Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, first of all, how you doing? I basically just want to say that, this is a big deal because you would have never seen a country, 5 years ago to even talk about openly define the United States and define the ICC. I think what happened was that after Donald Trump came out there and then said he wasn't going to follow any of the orders of the International Criminal Court, and Obama pretty much did the same thing, which is why he went over Julian Assange the way he did. I think what happened is that people around the world can see the blatant hypocrisy of the International Criminal Court, and so they don't feel the need to have to actually listen to it or find it as binding. Plus, as we've been talking about all in the past couple of weeks with BRICS and all the other stuff going on, now there are people who are bigger or just as big as the G7. They don't have to blindly follow whatever the United States says, despite the fact that they have reservations about it. So I think it's a big deal that Malema said he wasn't going to turn they wouldn't turn in Putin. Putin just forgave $20 billion of debt to Africa. Putin is very popular in most countries in Africa, and I think that people in Africa are finally willing, have the means and the will to stand up and let people know that, we're not just going to blindly follow whatever the West has to say. As a matter of fact, we're pushing back. So I think it's a good thing, and I actually think it's a big deal. It shows that this is a new era, a new day, and that the United States just can't bully people into doing what they say. Plus, if you read any of the charges that Putin is under, they're very weak charges. Everyone can see that he's not even being charged for the invasion. He's being charged for the displacement of children, which are just kids that were, from dead Ukrainians who ended up getting put in orphanages and taken back to Russia in places where those kids were ethnically Russian anyway, so they could have a better life. And so it's just really weird that that's what they chose to charge him with all the things that they possibly could have cooked up, that they found probably one of the weakest charges to charge him with.
Yeah, that's crazy. Go ahead, Larry.
I was just going to say that South Africa, with the government there, back in 2000 and I think it was 16, was it 15? They got into problems with the ICC because I think back then they were supposed to arrest the Sudanese president, Omar al-Bashir. There was an African Leaders Summit back in 2015. And because they have signed up to the Rome Statute, which is part of the ICC, they were supposed to arrest President Omar al-Bashir, the Sudanese president, back in 2015, but they didn't do it. And so I personally don't think the government is interested in clashing with Russia because they're good. They work together politically. So I don't actually think South Africa, well, when I say South Africa, I think the government has a problem with Russia anyway. And I don't think they'd arrest. Plus, they'd be opening themselves up to the potential of a war. If you arrest I think he's like the head of state anyway, Putin. If you start arresting the head of state in another country, that's a declaration of war on Russia. South Africa wouldn't do that. And in the past, they haven't followed through with the ICC duties anyway. So it's they wouldn't want to make an arrest, even if Malema. I think the government itself, South Africa's government, is not really interested in going down the route of arresting Putin. They don't really have a major problem with him. Plus, they're part of this BRICS thing, which you've been talking about. So they're allied with Russia. So I can't see the president wanting to arrest Putin. So it's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, that's not going to happen at all. I would be shocked if it happens. Like, I would be shocked. I mean, won't the ICC just pull up in Russia and go get them? Yeah, pull up in Russia and go get them.
But it does make a mockery of what the ICC stands for. If certain countries won't actually fulfill what they signed up to, which is that Rome Statute back in 98? 98, the Rome Statute. If you're not going to fulfill it, it's like, well, why did you sign up to it?
Well, the ICC was made a joke by the United States. We made it a joke when we've had a few presidents now who've, you could possibly say have committed crimes, and we have not had them arrested. And even the talk of having them arrested or charged by the ICC, we had, most recently had Trump, who decertified everything having to do with the ICC because, and same thing with Obama, we weren't going to send any of our troops into a court to be judged, for things they did in Afghanistan or in Iraq. So we made it a joke when we did that. So now when the world sees us go ahead and we're back in the ICC saying, well, the ICC said to do this, the rest of the world's looking back at us like, didn't you ignore the ICC? Why can't we?
True.
What are your thoughts on that, Larry?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't disagree at all with what Alan's saying in regards to that. And the interesting thing is, looking at it from a hypothetical, let's say they decided to follow the letter of the law anyway, South Africa, and they decided to make that arrest. who's going to back them up? Is America going to back them up? Do we know that for sure, that America would then say, right, we're going to back you up in this basically declaration of war against Putin? Do we know for sure if America would come on their side, or the rest of the West would come on their side to help them? I don't know. That's a big one. But it's interesting because the visit from Putin is supposed to be later this year. Is it August or is it July or something? It's going to be around then. It'll be interesting to see if Russia still proceeds with that visit. It'll be interesting because if they don't, I don't know. What does that mean? Does that mean they actually fear that Putin would get arrested? I don't know. Because so far Russia has made no announcement that I know of that they're going to cancel that trip, unless something's come through recently. So it's almost like watch this space, see what's going to happen. And on another note, I was going to ask you, Dynas, EFF have been around for a long time. Why have they not become the majority, like elected by the people to run South Africa?
It's the same way. Like the mindset of the average South African is the same mindset of the average Black American. You know, the ANC to South Africans is similar to the Democratic Party to Black Americans. They're just, it don't matter.
That's an excellent comparison.
Yeah, because I ran, when I travel over, to Africa, I run into South Africans all the time, and I ask them the same question, and it's the same exact mindset.
Yeah, you even have people like South Africans like Trevor Noah, who speaks out against the EFF all the time. And talk about defending his his white relatives and things like this. So he's slipped up and he said that a couple times. He doesn't want the hardline stance, and I suspect a lot of South Africans don't want to really do the necessary things to really empower that particular party.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, that party will never come into power then.
No. It's like I said, the ANC is to Black South Africans what the Democratic Party is to Black Americans. It's just, yeah. Like I said, because I run into South Africans a lot when I'm traveling over in Africa, and we've had these conversations, and they're just like, no, hell no, ANC all the way.
Wow. I thought that generation was slowly getting older, and the younger generation who didn't grow up under apartheid, even though they grew up in a household with parents and grandparents who are like loyal ANC supporters, I thought the younger generation would be like, you know what, the ANC have had their time. Things haven't gotten better. Let's try something different. But I guess from what you've said, that isn't the case. It's going to be ANC all the way.
Yeah, guys. Links in the chat room again. Link is in the chat room if you want to call in and add to the conversation. Yeah. In fact, it's funny you said that because the girl I ran into one time from South Africa, I ran into her in Zanzibar. Those were her exact words: ANC all the way.
Yeah, people have historical attachments to certain parties, and people don't leave regardless, and that happens all over the world. I can think of some relatives in my parents' country that do the same thing. No matter how bad it gets with one party, if that's their party, they sticking with it, especially if they did something historical.
This pushes through what you were talking about when you brought up that BRICS debate. So basically then, this decision, if they decide not to do anything with Putin, it'll be I wouldn't say slap in the face to America or Western countries that are hoping for an arrest. It will kind of prove what you were saying, that the geopolitical international scene is changing to such an extent that South Africa, which is part of BRICS, is much more loyal to BRICS than it would be to political decisions outside of BRICS. That's a whole, I don't know. I'm just jumping ahead here, so I won't jump the gun. Hopefully they'll, if they don't arrest Putin, and I'm guessing your country, America and Britain and all that, they want something to be done to Putin. I'm guessing from what I've seen. And if that's not going to be done, that's like putting BRICS ahead of, oh man.
Whoa. Well, we're already headed towards de-dollarization, around the world. So that shift is already happening. It happened last week. end of last week, where there are countries out there who are using that Chinese currency, the yuan or whatever it's called, in place of the American dollar. Is no longer this dollar hegemony anymore. So that is an indication of the change that happened with the meetings and everything that happened. And then if BRICS is somehow able to get Indonesia and Saudi Arabia to join, that's a wrap. They're way stronger than the G7, and the whole world is completely changed. It's up on its end.
Did you say Indonesia?
Yes.
I didn't know Indonesia's economy was doing that well. I knew it was okay. I didn't. Okay.
Well, it's just to have that influence in the Pacific and like in the Asian country, or more in the Asian countries as well. So, because I mean, so you have BRICS, but then there are like 20 countries who want to be under BRICS.
BRICS Plus.
Yeah, BRICS Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. Oh, we got Brandon coming up. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, yeah, so people are talking about.
Brandon, we can't hear you on your Obama phone. We can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, people talking about Vladimir Putin being arrested in South Africa. Like, how exactly is South Africa supposed to place this dude under arrest? The dude has his like security detail, all this. He has nuclear weapons that can hit South Africa. Like, the whole idea of him being arrested on foreign soil is totally preposterous. Like, on top of that, like, why would someone interrupt whatever business dealing they have with that country to then arrest that person and extradite them to wherever the UN wants them to do that? Like, this stuff is like a formality. A lot of our people, we get sucked in to certain talking points because we don't really understand geopolitics. Like, it's the same thing with Trump supposedly being arrested. All that stuff is done for optics. That stuff is said just to try to like get people to like stir the conversation and create a certain atmosphere. But it's just like, when you think about it, the guy is currently at war. Putin, the guy has evaded assassination attempt after assassination attempt for like 20 plus years. The guy is a part of like, he has like one of the strongest militaries in the world, which, I mean, that's debatable now, but you think that guy's going to walk into a situation where someone's going to be like, yo, you're under arrest? The UN is like a toothless dog. The United States controls the UN, and they just use the UN to kind of like facilitate or like regurgitate little stupid talking points and to like give a fake form of validation, right, to whatever the United States wants to do. It's the same thing like with the Trump January 6th hearing. It's just a clown court that is used to create validate what a certain political interest wants the narrative that they've already adopted. And we need to understand that we're entering into a time where the United States is totally openly engaging in a form of political the corruption is becoming more open, right? Just like when you have in the America, Trump they want to arrest him and stuff like that. This is just the weaponization of government agencies and international bodies, against rivals, right? It's just like the World Health Organization that was weaponized against, China weaponized the World Health Organization against other countries, right? Because they had to pay all that money. They agreed to pay all that money for those tariffs, and then they needed a way to get out of that. So what did they do? They basically got the World Health Organization on board to regurgitate whatever they said about COVID, which ended up with countries being adversely affected by COVID. Because at first, the World Health Organization said that China said that COVID wasn't even going to have any impact on other countries. It was like a little cough, you're going to get a little sickness and then you're good. The World Health Organization agreed. They echoed China's statement to the point where countries didn't do lockdowns or like ban international flights entering their country, right? So we got to understand these international bodies, they're all for sale. Countries are now using these to weaponize them in their best interest, and they're just regurgitating whatever the person paying them tells them to say, including but not limited to the United States.
Hey, Zulu, go ahead, Zulu. Unmute yourself.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Like, I was really more up here to actually get on the conversation about the de-dollarization of America. And how do you really think that's actually going to actually fare for most of most Americans? Because that's actually one of my real questions. I wanted to ask that to I think it's Eli. I can't see your name right now for some reason.
Larry.
Larry, sorry.
Go ahead, Larry. Well, Larry's not.
No, it wasn't. It was Alan who was talking about.
Yeah, Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I'm not going to claim to be an economic expert or anything like that. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that we're in trouble if that happens, because now countries don't have to do business with American dollars when they're doing oil or anything else. They're going to a different currency. That just will devalue our money. It's not a good thing. It's kind of scary. That's all I can say.
Can I ask a question? I have 4 other intelligent people on here. Can anyone tell me what are these crimes that Donald Trump committed that these people in the comments keep saying Donald Trump committed a bunch of crimes? I still haven't figured that out.
People have not read the charges. If you read the charges, you realize that the charges are fraudulent. Basically they're indicting him for about Stormy Daniels. Of all the things that they wanted to claim that he did, they're going out after payment to Stormy Daniels, and it is just utterly ridiculous that all these years later they're doing that.
No, but you have a certain segment of the black population that continues to say he committed these crimes, but they can't name a single crime the guy has done. And this is what I keep warning black people about. You have to look in the mirror and make sure that you are not just a freaking moron who is regurgitating things that you you can't even identify. I'll give somebody $100 if they tell me the crime that Donald Trump committed, and they
people
won't
don't
be
like
able
to do
to.
research, man. That's what I realized.
Right? They so convinced he did these crimes. I'm like, okay, what crime? Because I've done research on this. What crime? And at that point, you realize that there's a large segment of us who is just dumb. Like, don't need a reason, just need white folks to say, nigga, say this, and we gonna start regurgitating it.
It doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you can prove, to quote Denzel, right? And at the end of the day, he's being charged with a very, very minor crime that they can't prove. And even if they do prove, it's not going to get him in any real trouble. So people need to actually read the charges against him and realize all this other stuff that the media has told us over the years that he's done. They don't have enough evidence to put that against him.
I don't see how the federal government wouldn't even touch this case, because they were like, there's no evidence that he did anything wrong. But a state government decides to do it, which we know is just for optics. Now you got Tiarka talking about he was raping women, but you can't prove that. You just saying that unless you was in the bedroom with him and whatever woman.
Emotional Democrat voter. Go ahead.
I was like, what?
First thing first, man. You get what I'm saying? I was raised by my mama, so I'm emotional like my mama. You know what I'm saying? So wherever my mama and my grandmama them told me to like, then that's who I'm going to like. Whoever entertainers and rappers come around and tell me on their Instagram who to vote for, that's who I'm going to vote for. Whoever CNN tells me who to dislike and who to be emotional about and ask me how they feel and start throwing out trigger words like probably, mostly, theoretically, maybe, baby, imminent, sources and messes, people close to dying-ness, people that's around in Brandon's Pan-African Strike Back inner circle, people that worked with Dynas at Cinco back in 2006. Those are the people that I'm gonna listen to. Man, first thing first, man. And I freestyled that one, bro. That was a freestyle. You get what I'm saying? Because, first thing first, man, salute to your platform, my brother. Salute, I know you got your tour going over there, Sierra Leone, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can jump on the next one. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all make sure y'all go to Africa.
The one in 2 weeks?
Yeah, the one you no, not that one. I'm saying this is the one you got coming up. I said I hope I can jump on the next one. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
When to get it down packed, man. You know the way my 19 arrest record's working out, man. It always scares me. But I digress from that situation. But see, this is why, for a long time when I first started jumping on these platforms, people was against me from saying what I was saying. But I think a lot of people are waking up and understanding that, the black people, we're just mentally lazy. You get what I'm saying? So we like for somebody else to think for us. So if you got a white person in a suit and tie come up and tell you something and they repeat it a few times to black people, then black people will go for it. They have no reason not to go for it. Especially when a white person is talking nice to you. It was the same way when I was younger growing up, that a white person would come around in our roughest neighborhood. Now, a black person that went from that neighborhood, he couldn't walk around in Bankhead. But a white person in a suit coming around selling you fake insurance, he could walk around the whole neighborhood. Hell, he'll get invited in the house. Hell, they'll offer him something to eat. You know what I'm saying? About the same thing. What'd you say now?
I said they offer him some Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they offer him some Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? With the edge in the clean cup, the cup they pull out the china cabinet, the glass cup. You know what I'm saying? With the flowers on it. You get what I'm saying? But we see. But the thing about it is, it always shocks me when I hear black people saying that we're not from Africa, because the Africans do it over there. White people come over there. What the first thing Africans get to doing? They get to shaking their stinking ass out there in the streets, barefooted, or with them struggle flip-flops on it, with the side of their feet touching the ground. You get what I'm saying? Or you'll catch the struggle YouTubers coming in there, walking around all over Uganda, all over Africa, and you get the black person that happy to see a white person, invite them in their house that got jerry cans where they pissing in and buckets that they shitting in. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, the thing of it is that we're descendants of the original fuck niggas. You get what I'm saying? And that's just the way it is. But when it comes to this politician thing, the one thing that Brandon left out, that he left out, and that most people don't know, that the Iraqis put out a arrest warrant for Trump. You get what I'm saying? See, even though they hate Trump, they only said that one time. If any of y'all Google right now, Iraq has an arrest warrant for Trump. You get what I'm saying? And it was never ever spoken of after Iraq said that one time. See, the thing with Trump is just that the Democrats want power. So they think that some type of way, because black people, so we think some type of way sticking it to white people, that we don't like, is going to help our cause a certain type of way. We even had brothers, I don't remember, maybe a few months ago, we had brothers coming on this platform saying, well, you know what, I don't believe in what the Democrats doing, but I felt like it was a fuck you to Donald Trump. That's how emotional and dumb we are as black people. That somebody said, well, we're going to stick it to Trump. My vote is like the cut of a, what they call it, the death of 1,000 cuts. Like, I helped put the cut to get Donald Trump. I sent him home packing. You get what I'm saying? Like, we think like some type of way we win. And then we go right back to our 2-bedroom apartments, right back into our bullshit neighborhoods. You get what I'm saying? While white people sit up there laughing, and all of them sit up there and laugh and joke and eat together. All of them sit up there and go to retreats and they have fun. They go to Camp David and laughing and joking it up. While the people, now this is the last part, and I'm gonna pass the mic. It always reminds me of one time I was watching this soccer game, and the two sides, the two teams in the stands, they was fighting each other. And while they was fighting each other and tearing up the stadium, you know what the owners did? They got together and rode out in the same car. They rode together out of there while the dumb people in the stands fighting each other for a cause, while the rich people rode off in their Phantoms, rode off in their bulletproof minivans. So it just shows how stupid that we are as black people. And about the dollar, it just shocks me how most black people are employees. We are employee-based community, and we sit up here rooting for the dollar to fail or America to fail like we got a backup plan. Most black people ain't got enough food in their refrigerator to last them 4 days. Most black people do not know how to purify water. Most black people ain't got a stash of food. Most black people ain't got no protective gear. Most black people don't even know how to make a fire. You get what I'm saying? Don't know how to put up shelter. And we sit up here rooting rooting against a system where we're thriving off of, and most of our family members are living off of. It's crazy, man. But I pass the mic, my brother.
All right, I'm gonna say, okay. I think we people gotta actually, we really, as a group of people, y'all really gotta do some context, man. Yes, I do say most people in America are stupid, bro. Most black people in America are stupid. Yes.
When you say most, put a percentage on it, bro. Put a percentage on it.
Most, that's like, I'm gonna say 70%.
Oh boy, go on, take it up to 85 to be nice. 94%. Go ahead, my brother.
No. I'm not being hyperbolic. When I really mean that, I like in most societies, bro, like only 30% of people are actually the smart one. Like everybody else is kind of
it's less than that. It's 1% because the smart people got all the money. The 1%.
No. I'm finish my point, right? In most societies, but like the problem with you talking about here, at least when we gonna add some context, what you said, most of those people who live in the United States who vote like that, they basically do that because they're incentivized to do that, bro. Who supply these folk what they with? Most black people. That's black women, bro. They supply the Democratic Party basically paying out half your community to vote for them anyway, bro. So let's not even, you really can't even pull that shit. They getting paid to vote that way. You know what I mean?
Well, how are they getting paid?
EBT cards.
What you mean? Poor white Republicans get EBT, welfare, and everything else. So you ain't even getting paid. You voting for free.
But the Democrats pat them on the back of their head like a dog, Brandon, and stick their finger in their ass at the same time. Though.
So the Democrats. Hey, bro,
I was speaking, bro, before y'all two interrupt me, bro. You know what I mean? But like I said, so you basically got half your community getting paid off. So I understand why they vote.
We asking you a question. How are they getting paid?
And he just told you, bro.
No, and I just said Republicans get the same food stamps, Section 8, all that. So again, I asked you the question: how are they getting paid?
Oh, okay, we got to break this down.
Getting paid.
All right, I'm gonna speak to you. All right, the party that votes for these things to keep these things in motion is not the Democratic Party.
What are you talking, bro? You live in a system.
That Republican Party,
bro. You live in a system of checks and balances, meaning you need Republicans and Democrats to agree on shit to pass it. So Republicans do vote for all this welfare stuff, or else it wouldn't get passed.
So are you sure about that? So that's how,
bro. Do you think that a white Republican congressman who live in who presides over a constituency of poor white trash living in trailer parks, receiving welfare checks, food stamps, all that, you think he doesn't support government entitlement programs? Of course he does, or he wouldn't have no fucking money, duh.
The president who actually cut more entitlements than just about anybody was actually Bill Clinton. So it was a Democrat who actually cut more entitlements.
Right, but that's what we do. We try to paint things. Oh, a Republican, the Democrats do this and the Republicans don't. No, the Democrats shit in your face just like Republicans do. And then they both get together to give you a little bit of crumbs to keep you chilling and docile so you don't complain too much. They're in it together. America is a system of checks and balances. One group can't do shit unless the other group agree to it. And that's what we don't want to accept. Joe Biden and the Democrats keep telling you about all the shit they're going to do. They tell you about all the shit that they're going to they say. Hey, look, we got people in Watts vote Republican now. Sorry, guys, but yeah. So we keep on trying to make it seem like, oh well, this group is doing this and this group's not doing. Joe Biden extended the Bush era tax cuts just like every Democrat president since Bush. Then extended the Bush tax cuts for the rich. Period. Like, it's not really like these people are doing the same thing with the same sentiment. That's why I keep telling black people, hey, just vote for whoever's offering you something right now. Stop looking at stuff for Democrat, Republican, and all that. You don't want to get blown up in World War III? You probably should vote for Donald Trump.
Go ahead, Al.
Good evening, Dennis, and everyone in the chat.
Evening.
Good evening. Yeah, Dennis, I love that Ivory Coast thing. You know, the Acheke is wicked, isn't it?
Of course, yes.
Oh man, it's nice with chicken and meat, both of them. The fish one as well, just amazing, man. Wicked. But yeah, I basically I'm a bit late on the topic, but you know, I think in general for us, you know, we better off with the center parties in general. You know, low tax. You know, basically just get out there. You know, put the work in. You know, don't have to rely on the system. You know, and contribute to society. Is that sort of party we need? We don't need party that give us social welfare, man. Any party that come around to give us free checks, they're not our friends. They've been doing that in the West for years, even in the UK. You know, we have a lot of black people that have been stuck in project housing, rely on benefit money, because that's what we call it over here. You know, that money basically that they give you is just to sit at home, you know, with no aspiration. And basically people like that and money like that is best to stay away from, and also those kind of policies. You know, that's all I got to say for now. Just kick back and listen to the other brothers.
Well, you just shamed 90% of black women in America then. I'm just being honest with you, bro. Because that's what they believe in, and they raise up sons that believe in this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a homeboy right now been selling me his food stamps for the last 2 years. I got his food stamp card right here in my pocket. You get what I'm saying? Because he works odds and end jobs just like his mama did. And like I keep telling y'all that these dudes act just like the hoes that raised them. That he works jobs where he can fly up under the radar, so he won't meet that $1,600 or $1,800 a month threshold, and he get $300. He get the he get $300 in food stamps, plus he get the extra $50 or $80 with the in Georgia with the thing that was going on where they extended and giving them an extra $75. You know what I'm saying? With the virus thing. So he get $375 a month, and you know what I'm saying? And he used that to try to flip a couple of ounces or whatever he do. But what I'm saying is that when it's easy to do nothing, you know what I'm saying? You got two choices. You either sit down and do nothing and start talking about white Jesus and waiting for the Lord and, you know, wait for your ship to come in and won't he do it? Or you'll sit up there and take an easy situation and be like, well, you know what? Let me stack my money up so I can get out here in this rat race. Those are the two decisions that black people make in those type of living arrangement. But you know what I'm saying, I'm telling you that I know people that when the projects and low income housing, they tearing them down in Atlanta, it was black people out there crying, talking about what we gonna do. My mama stay here, my grandmama them stay here. What are we gonna do? Because nobody ever, it's a certain group of black people that if you don't force them to do something, they won't do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
They'll live
emotional Democrat voter. What was the? In fact, I watched a documentary on the
by Grady Holmes.
East Lake.
East Lake Meadows.
And you're right.
Hold on, Dinus. You
Listen,
mean Little
Charles.
Vietnam? You mean Little Vietnam?
Right, but like you said, that they were talking about how back in the day it was good, then the crack hit, it was hell. But then when they came to bulldoze them and tell them to turn into condos or whatever, oh, where we gonna go? But then at the same time, right before that, they talk about how it was hell, Vietnam.
This is the thing about black people. Black people will complain about something and then have no answer. They'll want somebody else to give them the answer while they're complaining. They don't have no solution, but they'll complain about something. So let me break it down in layman terms. It's the way. Hold on for a second, bro.
Sorry.
It's the way that somebody would complain about the trash in their front yard, brother. But instead of them going out there and clean up the trash, they want somebody else to tell them to clean up the trash that they're complaining about. Or either they'll say, well, I see the trash. It ain't my trash. I'm just letting y'all know that it's trash there. You get what I'm saying? Now, even though I can get with other members of the community, we can get together and clean it up. But, that's how we are as people. We do it all the time. We'll be like, well, you know what? I ain't had nothing to do with it. But, I'm just letting you know what's going on. But I got this thing from, I saw it in the chat of Dinus from Ken Tutu. He said that, me calling black people lazy, he said, well, black people are mentally sick. Dinus a man. Now I ain't do 4 years at UGA, bro. You get what I'm saying? I went to BYU, Backyard University. You get what I'm saying? So please tell me the difference between a mentally sick black person and a lazy-minded black person, Dinus. Help me out with your UGA education, my brother.
They're both the same.
Well, no, they're not quite the same in that.
Come on, help me out there, brother. Tell me. Come on.
Well, basically, what the person's trying to say is that those people have learned helplessness, and so they've adapted and learned helplessness through and almost been conditioned generationally to depend on a system that they need to be weaned off of. So that's different than being flat out lazy, where you just don't want to work. A lot of people who are in these environments, some of them, not a lot of them, some of them actually do want to work, but they don't even know how. They don't have the connections to learn how, and it takes a great amount of effort for them to come out of it because they've learned such bad habits.
Yeah.
Over
I mean, if you wake up in the morning as a young lad and your dad is always at home, he's not waking up in the morning and go to work. He's waiting for the paycheck. When you get older, you're gonna follow your dad's steps, right?
Or your mom.
All you know is basically, being used to your dad and your mom and dad being at home waiting for the check to come through the post so you can go out and spend the money. But if you're used to your dad waking up in the morning, by the time you wake up, your dad is gone, or you're used to your dad waking up, getting dressed and go to work. As a young lad, when you get older, that's exactly what you're inspired to do because, especially with boys, they look up to their dad.
Let me push back on that a little bit, Aldo.
Let me do this, emotional Democrat voter. Let me pass it to Elvis because he's been waiting.
Oh, yeah, go ahead,
Elvis.
Yeah, thank you, Dinus, and hello to the panel. In regards to what Brandon was talking about, and I think what the other guy is talking about, I think Alan HB, I think you hit it right on the head. It's a generational thing, And like they say in Africa, monkey see, monkey do. So you emulate the things that are right in front of you. And until you see something different or something positive on how to achieve those things, you don't know how to do it. So, and also, most people think that people who are on, food stamps or getting help from the government are just people who are sitting at home. Most of them are single mothers or single parents who are actually working, but their paychecks just can't stretch far enough to make that extra $200 to buy food for their kids every month. So it's not everybody who's on food stamp, that's lazy and doesn't want to do anything productive in life. Some people just can't cut it. People live in expensive cities And even though they're making a couple $1,000s a month, it still isn't enough to pay rent and put food on the table for their kids. So social programs like welfare and other programs like that is necessary in any civilized society. And white people use it as much as black people and any other ethnicity. All right. So I think definitely there are some people who abuse it, but it doesn't make us any less of a people or black people any less for using, food stamp or social welfare programs. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah,
I think
I mean, in the UK, they brought a law actually that tests this. Because before, you're allowed to be on on the system, and it did not work. And then they had a government that came in and said, right, we had enough for giving people free money. That's including black and white, right? We had enough for giving people free money and paying their rent and stuff like that. So they introduced what they call universal credit. So you can get tiny bit of extra help while you're at work than actually entirely relying on the welfare money. So what they realize is some people tend to go out and work because they realize there's more incentive to earn more and have more money at the end of the month than sitting at home. But then some people always find a way around it, so to make sure they don't go to work. So it's all depend on the mindset.
And Al, let me say this quick, not to cut you off, brother.
No?
One of the things that hurt the black community is our parents overworking themselves or just overworking in general, that they don't have enough time for the children at home. You have a mother who's a nurse who does a 16-hour shift, 3-4 days out of the week. Who's there to babysit you? Who's there to teach you? Who's there to study with you with your homework? Who's there to tell you not to go out there and hang out with the gangsters in the neighborhood?
That's not an overwork problem. That's a single mother problem. Like that's the same.
Come on, man.
Like I'm being I'm just being honest with you, bro. Like I'm just pointing it out because I didn't travel to I didn't travel to Uganda, bro. I didn't see in South Africa, bro. I didn't been over the continent. I done came back a couple times, bro. That what you talking about is a quote unquote a single mother problem. Because when I was out there in Uganda, bro, now there were some single mothers, bro, but it was not the same and neither the same amount, bro. So the problem is, and I'm saying the difference is, bro, you got a single mother over here, bro. That's a drain on the family system. That's drain on the financial system, on everybody that's involved, bro. And that eventually slow down your society, which you seeing. So I mean, you kind of putting that. I mean, you kind of flipping it.
No. He's simping. That's what he's doing, man. Put it. Tell it straight like it is, man. That is a single mama's problem. Now, let me say this real quick. Did you hear how he was saying about how the women work these jobs and they only got enough money to make ends meet to pay for the bills? Then how in the hell that you go around the United States and you see 90% of these single mothers with $800 worth of Remy, Peruvian wavy, natural silky, iPhone 14s, every pair of leggings at the beauty supply shop and City Trends. You get what I'm saying? Fingernails that look like they can snatch. Fingernails looking like they can snatch a goddamn eagle out the sky. You get what I'm saying? And on top of that, they entitled if they barely making ends meet after working 16 hours a day, bro. How does that happen?
Let me just say this. I grew up in a 2-parent household. My father and my mother was married when I was growing up. My mother actually was the one who made it out of, in terms of making it out. She's a businesswoman. She owns apartment complexes. My mother's damn near almost a millionaire. So when I'm saying these things, I'm not speaking from personal experience, but I'm looking at people who I know or people who I've seen, who go through these things. So it's not only single parents. Sometimes you have both parents who are in the household trying to provide for the kids monetarily, but they're neglecting them socially in terms of being there for them, giving them the leeway. So some kids who grew up in middle class households become gangster, they become murderer, and you look at them and say, well, your parents was working so hard to give you a better life, but they neglected the emotional and the social aspect of that child's life. So working and providing isn't the only thing that a child needs to be successful in life. You also need an emotional part. In order to give them that part of it, you have to have time to spend with them. So it got to be a delicate balance between work and family life. So
hold on, Democrat. Before you say this, I'm gonna go ahead and say one thing. Right?
Go ahead, my brother.
All right. See, this one of them hurdles or one of them band-aids that just black folks just don't want to rip off, bro.
Mhm.
The quote unquote really got on to if you want to quote unquote a better community, you're gonna have to fix the single mother issue, bro. Like you can't, like I'm sorry, bro. Like as much as folks just kind of want to kind of keep running that, kind of keep throwing that shit.
But it goes both ways, brother, for both black men and black women.
Hold on. Let me finish, bro. Right? No matter how y'all want to keep slicing this cake, bro. No matter how y'all want to keep on flipping it, bro. The reality is, if you have 60% of your men do not have kids, bro. You have an 80% of out of wedlock rate, bro. Make that make sense. You have a 60% of your men do not have kids, bro. But then you have an 80% out of wedlock rate, bro.
And 78% single women. Now make that. What does that tell you just by facts and numbers? That means that the women are chasing having sex with the same group of Pookies and Ray Rays and four-wheeler shorty. You get what I'm saying? Like in today's, this is how I'm gonna give it back to you. In the day's time, the average working black man don't even appease to most of these women. These women, you can hear it on these podcasts. You can talk to them anywhere. These women want a scammer. They want instant gratification, instant success. They want instant glue on their hair. You get what I'm saying? And they want instant installs at the beauty supply shop. That's what they want. They don't want to build with a black man. And you know what? They don't have no incentive to build with a black man because they got super ultra mega simps, supersized mama boys that will sit up there and simp for her and tell them how fine she is, even though her mattress on the floor and she got roaches in the background and potato chip bags all over the floor. Continue, my brother.
Okay, all right now. I know. I say this, and nobody go ahead and jump, right, bro?
That brother can paint a picture, can he?
Yeah, bro. Like right now, the problem that y'all got right now, bro. Like I was on TikTok just yesterday, bro. So you know, me being me, right? But they literally got a video. They literally got a video of a chick out there. I think she was a security guard, bro. She out there with the prison dude. She was out there with, bro.
Yeah.
I seen this shit. I seen this shit. So they meet you. And he like, well, how y'all meet? She's like, I met them in the jailhouse. And you see what I'm saying?
Hold on.
And she got 3 kids by this motherfucker.
I gotta mute the guy. I guess you can't hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Dinus.
You kind of low, Dinus. You kind of low.
I was kind of low. Okay, sorry about that.
There you go. Now you're good.
Okay. I'm back into the mic now. No, so you know that goes on. I'm noticing like there's a new expose or story like every other month in these Atlanta prisons with that happening, like in Atlanta.
Well, I've been telling you, bro. Like I've been telling folks. Like, see, when I say y'all got like. People don't want to. They want to do half the wound, bro. Like, they want to put band-aids on. On an arm that's cut off, bro. You can't do that, bro. Like I keep telling you, they don't want to fix it. And the black community can't do nothing until you fix the single mother issue. Until that's done, bro. That's not happening.
Do you know what? You're kind of right in that, Sim, because in the UK, the reason why they actually stopped that benefit system was for one of the factors is because we had high rate of teenage pregnancy. And also a lot of women's were getting pregnant just to get housed and get all these benefits, right?
I think you hit it right on the head because most of these single mothers are teenagers. They get pregnant when they're in their teens.
Yes.
And that's a vulnerable stage for any adolescent, for both males and females. So when you're looking at it, these are not 25-year-old women who are having babies out of wedlock. But also, let's not forget, it takes 2 to tango. Women don't just get pregnant spontaneously. You know, so as a man, if you're going to go into that woman raw, you have the responsibility to be there.
And you have an 80% out of wedlock. You see what I tell you about that inner self that's in some of these folks.
The point that I'm trying to make to you, brother, is that most of these pregnancies happen in adolescence. When their brains are not fully developed. People are getting pregnant at 16, 17, 18 when they're not fully developed mentally.
Where do you get those stats from that they're happening at 16? Man, you got grown.
You speak from your experience. I'm speaking from my experience.
Let me interject real quick. Sorry about that. Elvis, he asked a specific question. Where are you getting these numbers from, these stats? Not experience.
He willed it into existence, bro. That's what that's the stat. He will it into existence.
Like Al was saying, I don't know about you guys, right? I'm not looking at any database, but I'm telling you, from my personal experience, living around where I live, most of these girls.
Elvis, we need see, we don't do that around here, Elvis.
Okay,
That's
fine.
anecdotal, Elvis.
If you want to stay out of way, but when this guy's saying that most black women are biz, they want nails, they want that, you don't check him on that. You don't ask for statistics to tell you what percentage of black women only care about having Remy hair. You don't check him on that. So if you want to check me, fine. I'll step back.
90% of black women in America have Remy hair, though, bro. When we walk around, like
you say 90%. From what database are you getting that from? What database are you getting that from?
Have you been to
No. If you guys are gonna check me, check yourself. What database are you getting
let me
it
help
from?
him out for a second. Let me help you out. Let me help him out for a second, Diners. Let me do this real quick, man. The weave industry is a $2 to $4 billion business. So let's just multiply that. It's only if men ain't making it $4 billion, white women ain't making it $4 billion, Indian people ain't making it $4 billion. Hell, they the ones that cutting off their hair, giving it to black women, where they giving it away and somebody else selling it. So if it's $4 billion, Elvis, multiply that times, let's just say, I said 90%. So it is 22 million black women in this world. You get what I'm saying? So let's take off 90% and take off 2 million. So that's 18 million. That is 18 million. Divide that into a $4 billion. That's how you come up with numbers, bro. What you doing is anecdotal, and because you want to come up with anecdotal examples, then you feel a certain type of way about it. Get what I'm saying? Now I don't know where you live at, Elvis, but I stay in Atlanta. You get what I'm saying? And I know that, and every other man know that everywhere we go, it's gonna be at least, if there's 10 women in there, at least 9 of them. 9 out of every 10 women you see got some strangers' hair from other countries in their head. It's rare. I can go a full week and a half, Elvis, unless I go to a holistic shop or something like that, and I don't see not one black woman rocking her real hair.
Uncle Tim, I can't talk for America because I don't live in America, but in the UK, the policy that was this policy that came out, it did work against teenage pregnancy big time, and it actually reduced it. And you only have to walk 15 years ago, you only have to walk around the high street in the UK. That's everywhere. Any city you go, even to the little towns, you see a lot of teenage pregnancy. And since they introduced this policy, you hardly see any teenage pregnancy out there today. But most of the people that you see, in fact, nowadays, women are having kids at the older age. And yes, it's true. There's no excuse, of single, even if, in fact, those single mothers that claim, to use the system, they have no excuse because, there's a lot of, in my area, there are a lot of white single moms that actually have kids, and also they got a job, they do their training, they carry on living their life, and they do not claim any social welfare. But then you got some black sisters actually still on the social welfare, and they have less kids, and they're still complaining about the system. So, and white people also. So, but unfortunately, we do have more black people in the system than we do have white people, even though it's a white majority country. So,
now in the United States, it's the opposite. It's more white people on welfare. And then it is. See, Elvis, when you make a point like that, I agree with you because that is a fact. You get what I'm saying? But far as how many black people own it versus white people per capita, we're the worst. Like, think about it like this, Elvis. In Atlanta, it was more white people. White people had the same opportunities in the projects. It was a mixture between black and white. But what happened after 10 years, Elvis? The white people left the projects. Where did they go? You get what I'm saying? They found it. They used that as a stepping stone. That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. Is that they use? Can I finish? Can I finish saying what I'm saying? Elvis, do you mind if I can finish making my factual statement? That in the projects in Atlanta, we had 4. The main one, we had Grady Homes, Perry Homes, Bankhead, and Centennial Place, which is right now Techwood. And these 4 projects was about 12,000 houses out of the 12. And they was a mixture when they first opened between black and white. So how, please explain to me how after 20 years, all the white people gone and black people, instead of it being only 10,000 black people, now instead of being half and half, now it became 99.9% black people.
I can tell you if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's simple as this, bro. Because if you got a high single mother, right? What does that mean, bro? That means you're gonna have multiple kids, right? So you're gonna have multiple kids. That means you're gonna have more resources being drained, bro. So that means you can't save resources, right? Now, if I'm a white woman, that's just I'm not gonna do that dumb ass shit, right? Because I understand I can't take that L, right? So I'm gonna get me a man. I'm gonna make sure we get a house, and then I'm gonna have my kids, bro. So when you got you got a group of motherfuckers that's doing it the opposite way necessarily, right? I'm gonna get 12. I'm gonna get 3 kids and say, you know what? When I'm 32, you know, I think I should get married now, bro. You're running into the issue, bro. You hustling backwards, bro. So that's why you can have a community where one motherfucker can be like, I can be here in this position and jump out. The other person is not, because you will end up having 4 more kids, 3 more kids, and so right. And who you fucking like? She fucking a prisoner, bro. She prison babe, bro. Prison babe. Like she ain't fucking she ain't fucking a lawyer. She fucking prison babe, bro. So you know. That's the problem, bro. That's your real problem right there, man.
Look, I had to step away. I had to step away for a second, but let me just say this: most wealth in this country is generational, and as there has been, practices from banks who tend to lend money to white families over black families. So most of these neighborhoods where you see the white families are moving out, going to the suburbs, is because these banks will give them the mortgages to move out, and then deny white or black families the same opportunities. So they're stuck in those neighborhoods. Not everybody, but this has been proven to be a practice that happened during the 60s, the 50s, and even into the 70s and 80s. So everything is not just because people pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Some people of color, they're just their race, give them, extra opportunities that some black people don't get. But secondly, wealth is generational. If you have a family who has a home or who has equity in that house of 200,000, they can leave it to their kids, and their kids can build upon that. Most black people don't have generational wealth,
but
so they're stuck.
You're a 5-generation baby mama. What generation are you leaving?
That's the point that I'm making. So if you're talking to a kid who has a baby who lives with a single mother, and she comes from a single mother, there's no generational wealth in that family. So for that child to make it out, it's twice as hard as a white family whose grandmother may have left them a house, or mother who may have left them a condo or something. So white and black wealth in this country is so.
No, I'm asking you a question. No, stop being defensive. Stop. I'm asking a simple.
No, slow down, brother. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Don't attack me. I'm just asking a simple question. So the problem. So to get out your situation, you need to perform proper what?
Say that again.
So to get out your situation, you need to perform proper what?
I don't know. Go ahead. Educate me. I want to hear your points. This is not a quiz. I just want to hear your points.
I pretty much put it out there, but I want to figure out somebody else gonna figure it out.
Proper habits. You have to have proper habits and work ethic to get yourself out of certain situations, and not have a mentality where this is the way things are and we just keep doing this. I work in Baltimore City schools.
My God, Baltimore is a trap, boy.
Yeah. So
I see,
trap, bro. I see it
all. How you do it?
Well, it's a calling. But
go ahead, my brother. I'm sorry.
No problem. No, but I see it. I've seen teachers get in trouble for saying things that were perceived as being against welfare, and the mother's coming up there saying, don't you talk bad about welfare, that's good money, and you don't go out here and talk about, I've seen a lot.
Did they have the bonnets on in the furry flip-flops?
Team bonnets.
Yes, with half their behind hanging out. Yes, I see that.
In the leggings to match.
Man,
or the pajamas, leggings or pajamas. Come on, bro.
You'd be lucky. I would prefer the leggings to the pajamas and some of the other things I've seen.
So I mean, so you in Baltimore, right? You in
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, right? I ain't gonna tell you where I'm from, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? So we all got the same experience, you know what I'm saying? We all on different sides of the continent, right? But then when we bring it up to the forefront, don't nobody say nothing, right? So basically, like I said, but like he said, good habits and family and proper family formation, bro. If you got a chick that ain't she against that, bro, you can't use it, bro. That's what I say, and that's the problem, bro. That's the fundamental problem, bro. Bad habits, bro, and family formation. If you got a chick that's against that, you can't do nothing with it, bro.
The problem is they reckless with the box, bro. That's
the point I was going to make. You think black women are more sexually active than white women their age or they're in their peer group?
No, but they're more
no. But they take birth control. They do.
It don't matter.
That's the point. That's the difference because they have access to health care. They have access to health care. That's one of the issues.
Birth control is free. Hold on for a second, bro. What state are you in, Elvis? What state are you in?
I'm in Minnesota.
Do you know that birth control is free? You know that, right? Elvis, that's a question, bro. Because you said they have white women have access to birth control pills and black women don't. Birth control is free.
How?
You can go to
How is free, bro? Hold on. Yeah, there's a point, but how? How is it free?
All they have to do is go down there. Let me explain it to them. Let me help them out. All they have to do is go down there, sign a piece of paper, and they will get birth control and a whole bag of rubbers. Now they might give them the lifestyle one.
You don't fully understand. I know why I asked you that question because I was a guy who, I mean, most of us were, we had girlfriends when we were teenagers. When you go to that place, you have to have somebody, either a parent or a guardian.
No, you don't.
No. That's not.
I've been there with my ex-girlfriend at the time.
Bro,
my ex-girlfriend now. I've been there, and you have to have consent, especially when you're doing the.
My daughter was able to get. They're passing out. Maybe you talking about some old shit, Elvis.
Yeah, maybe they changed it
now. They're teaching this in school. My daughter had this in the 6th grade. They had people coming up to the school. They don't have to get permission.
And in America, is childcare free or you have to pay for it?
Yeah,
if they're ward of the state, it's free. My daughter had peach care because her mama was a hood booger.
Every place is not the same. Police. Everywhere is not the same. There's different rules for different places.
But what I'm saying is that in Minnesota, you
don't live in Minnesota, huh? You don't live here, so you can't really speak on it. This is my whole point. This is why all of us are agreeing with each other and you're not. Because that Minnesota black population, it's more white people in Minnesota than it is black people. You get what I'm saying? By a higher percent. But every city that we live in is majority black people. I stay in Atlanta. And he stay in Baltimore. And the only thing about him, I'm sitting here wide. I don't hear the ew and the do. I don't hear that coming from him. Because he might ain't picked up on that. But all of us are saying the same thing because we around majority of black people. I can go around the whole Atlanta and never see a white person if I don't have to. You get
but you will agree that Atlanta is still violent, like Baltimore, even though it's supposed to have well-to-do black people.
Atlanta is definitely violent, just like Baltimore. The only difference is, my brother, is that Baltimore uses harsher drugs. You get what I'm saying? Like in Baltimore, they deal with the boat. They deal with more heroin.
But you understand where I'm going. I'm going. No, you can't understand it if you haven't heard me.
I know where you're going, but you said
give the brother a chance. Give him a chance to express himself.
Thank you. What I'm saying is Baltimore is black, Detroit is black, Memphis is black, but Atlanta, which is supposed to be the shining star of what you're supposed to do when black people who are well-to-do congregate, unfortunately, Atlanta seems to be a part of the same cesspool of craziness as these other cities. It's just
on this one, though.
A little bit prettier. That's about it. But overall, what I've been hearing from many of you, in addition, the emotional Democrat voter is a bunch of craziness and elitism in the same vein as white supremacist Republicans, which is to assume that most black people are on welfare, broke, lazy, uneducated, don't want to do anything. Now, if you're the exception to the rule that you're outlining, that the white man outlined, then you have to ask yourself, are you that too?
Yeah,
And
so
why?
you just talking out your ass now.
No,
Because you know
hold
what?
on
for a second, man. We let you say whatever you say.
Actually,
Listen to these emotional ass
you're the one who's emotional. Actually, how are you gonna tell me what I said? What I said?
No, you said what you said.
How are you gonna tell me? How are you gonna tell me that I finished saying what I said? I didn't finish saying. I didn't finish saying
it was more white people.
I didn't finish. Listen. I didn't finish saying what I was saying. How are you gonna tell me when it's done?
No, nobody tell you was done.
Why are you interrupting? Why are you interrupting then?
I said you're talking dumb.
Okay. Well, tell me after I'm done.
You talking dumb. You talking. You came here with your own narrative, and we already said that.
Listen.
Welfare than black people.
But you still kept on talking the same old stereotypes that white people put on black people.
Oh, what is that?
Laziness, welfare, don't want to do nothing, can't do nothing.
We did not call them lazy, bro. We did not call them lazy, bro. First off.
Oh, when you said they don't want to do, they don't want to. Hold on, no, you hold on. It doesn't take 10 years to make one sentence.
You see how you took over this whole conversation?
Yep.
You damn right, because you people long-winded and ignorant.
Hey, bro, calm down. Here with a
narrative, bro.
Here we go. One mic.
Hold on, one mic.
Can I get in? Can I get in real quick?
You can always tell them simpletons, bro.
Let's do this. Let's pass it to Alan. Let's pass it to Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I never said. I was very specific. I said that it wasn't laziness. I said it was learned helplessness.
Yep, that's exactly what you said.
That's exactly what I said. And I came to Baltimore with a certain mentality that nobody would really want to be on welfare, this and that, and the white man is holding us down, this and that. And then I got here, and I had to re-educate myself based on what it was that I was seeing. And what I've observed is that we as a people, especially here in Baltimore, because I've been here since 2005, people have learned.
Out of curiosity, where are you coming from?
Bro, let that man talk, man.
Why don't you shut up and let him talk?
Bro, you
Come on, one mic, one. Go ahead.
Female, bro.
I grew up in upstate New York by Canada.
All right, thank you.
And my parents are from Barbados.
Thank you. See how discussion goes, Mr. Emotional?
Yeah. So I get your point. I
weirdo, bro.
Context, but at the same time, I had to open myself up to understand what I was seeing and what was going around me, because it wasn't making any sense to me for the first couple of years that I was here. And then I was able to figure it out. Yes, there are things that institutionally have held back people in Baltimore specifically for a very, very long time that were that's completely out of their control. However, they've entered in the cycle now at this point where you've learned helplessness and you continue to rely on a system that keeps you in the exact same place. So now you share some of that responsibility for being in that place.
Now, would you agree that
can you let that man talk, bro?
Man, I know you're trying to be funny, but just relax for a second.
The man is still talking. But
why are you interrupting him? Why are you interrupting him then?
No, I'm interrupting you for
no. I didn't even get a word out before you opened your mouth.
Man, go ahead, brother. Finish your statement, bro.
I guess this guy's a would-be comedian. I guess that's what he's trying to be. Okay.
What I'm saying is, what I observed is that there's a system of learned helplessness, and so the things that are going on around you are generational and are not necessarily all your fault, right? But there are things that you could do to improve that situation, and some of the habits you've learned are keeping you in the same place. And if you don't unlearn some of those habits, you'll remain in the same place that you've always been in.
Right, I agree with that. But wouldn't you also agree that when we get on forums such as these, or even larger ones, that instead of calling black people the same old names that a lot of black people probably grew up hearing,
we said specifically we said, all right, bro. I said learn. I'm the one who said it specifically.
Yeah, but you don't even know where I was going. I mean, how you gonna talk about what I was talking about?
No, I'm being Pacific. You say black.
Yeah, but I didn't even say anything. I didn't say anything to you.
I said single mothers,
bro. So I was being Pacific. So I was being Pacific, bro.
Yeah, but I wasn't even talking about you.
I understand it, but I was
But if you understand it, why are you attacking me then?
Because he's the one that said it.
Listen, nobody's
Danny.
talking. Nobody's talking to you. No, I didn't even say. I didn't even pinpoint who said what.
Bro,
I'm talking.
Shut up, bro.
Can you stop interrupting me so I can talk to the man?
Man, why don't you go eat you some pig feet or something, man? I mean, come on.
He can't help it, bro.
Hey, bro, calm down. I'm
He's
trying to have
antagonist, bro. He can't help it.
Hey, hard, bro. I'm trying to be talk to you specifically. Not
Yeah, but I wasn't talking to you though. I was talking to the calm, educated man.
I was the one who generated the question before you even got up here. Before you, the one that you.
Yeah, but how are you gonna do something when I'm in the middle of doing what I'm doing?
Bro. So I'm answering you the question.
Yeah, but how can you be answering me when I'm addressing Alan?
Come on, bro.
Being disruptive.
Come on, bro.
I'm addressing Alan. I'm not addressing you.
Okay, hold on. One mic. Alan, are you done, Alan?
Oh well, no. I was listening to what the brother had to say. I wanted to respond.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Al.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so I was saying, instead of putting black people down, I'm not accusing you of doing that, but you know, with the usual stereotypes of laziness, don't want to work, no motivation.
Keep saying it, but we never said that. We never said that. You said that.
Who said that you said it? Who said that you said it?
Bro. We keep saying it, but you keep saying it, bro.
My man, and why don't you learn to be quiet? Learn to be quiet.
Bro, you
why don't you take your own advice?
Learn to be quiet.
Why don't you take your own advice, Danny?
Why don't you eat you some chitlins, okay? Now, check this out.
You know you want to say that to
See, now these people, just I would. What are you talking about?
Twitter fingers, bro.
Yes, I would. But anyway,
the most aggressive males you would ever meet.
I guarantee you meet me in person, you're gonna tremble in fear. I guarantee you that.
Oh my God, that is where you get these dudes.
I guarantee.
Hey, bro, it's the internet, bro. Anybody can pop up here, bro.
Hey, hold on. Let me bring some other people.
Yeah, please, bro. Please, bro.
See,
See,
these guys, they didn't want they didn't want to hear solutions. They didn't want to hear solutions.
Go ahead, Robert.
I understand, bro.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I just want to note that the learned behavior of laziness from the children.
Speak up, my brother. We can't hear you kind of low.
Yeah, you gotta talk to your Obama phone. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna come back in. Hold on.
No, there you go. You good now.
Yeah,
you know, there ain't nothing wrong with yours.
God damn, be quiet. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I just want to say I don't want the argument to turn into thinking that kids are inheriting laziness from their moms or their fathers, because I don't know about y'all, but when I was a child, I wanted to be a superhero. Helplessness and things like that are not necessarily attractive traits that a child would be attracted to. I think it's more of a chemical thing that's happening within the Black community with our diet, our addiction to sugar, our just addictions to nicotines and drugs in general that lower the dopamine baseline, which is basically the chemical for motivation. So basically genetically, we have lower dopamine baselines than everyone else. So it basically comes out as laziness.
Okay, now what he says sounds crazy, but when you're in the schools I'm in, you know, we have kids who if they wake up, they come before me and go eat breakfast there, and they'll eat lunch. If they don't come to school, they don't eat. We're on spring break right now, and I know the cafeteria is still open over at Frederick Douglass High School so that kids who don't eat otherwise can eat. That has a severe effect on some of these kids and what's going on with them. Also, you know, if you live in an older city in the Northeast, you know, Baltimore on up on the Eastern Seaboard, you're going to be a place with a lot of lead paint, a lot of different things, lead pipes, which people don't talk about, asbestos. You know, I work in a building that's chock full of it. We're not allowed to drink from the pipes in our building. My building was built in 1921. It has lead pipes. You know, there's signs all over the place saying hand washing only. You know what I mean? And we have to ship in water to put in the hallways. You know, these are things that people don't talk about that actually affect learning. So when he says that, and I've heard somebody in a previous show say something similar, it sounds crazy. But when you work in the school, you can look around, you guys can see, yeah, I could see how some of these kids are affected by the environment. because they're not in a good environment. Meanwhile, my children who are in Howard County, they get a brand new school building here in the state of Maryland every 20 years. They tore down my daughter's, my two daughters' elementary school and rebuilt a whole new building, completely unnecessary, right? But I work in a building that was built in 1921. So just
I mean, do not underestimate what they call self-esteem. You know, that is that's very important. You know, if a child grew up with no esteem, even a human being, you know, a lot of people out there don't have self-esteem, and that's how they will carry themselves, and that's how they will think. And also, as you mentioned, diet is very important, and that's the reason why a lot of schools in the UK have introduced free school meals. Before that, some kids were performing badly, like kids from poor background. But since they introduced that in the schools, you know, some kids actually performing better, you know. So I reckon it's a mixture of different things. It's not just one thing. But with Black people, it goes down to, you know, back to the upbringing, to the environment, and
white supremacy.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. But we need to move away from that mentality, that victim.
Well, until they move, until they move away from being white supremacy. See, how come when I start speaking, that's when you start?
That man is still talking.
Yeah, but why you just convolute the whole situation by your loud mouth?
You wanted to bring
but he
listen, he didn't even go for it.
Actually, he did. We're going back and forth.
Your question, you made a statement.
Okay,
you
but
said white
it's between. It's between.
He didn't even go
actually, he fed off that. Me and him. Listen, me and him are going back and forth.
Dude, man, hey, you know what, man? My first.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't you let the man? Why don't you let the man finish? Why don't you let the man finish? You country son of a bitch.
He is the manager.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Yeah, that's a good idea too.
How about both y'all shut up though? Like, I mean,
yeah, I agree with that too.
That does benefit everybody.
Yeah.
So, all right, oh, bro, can you finish your point, man? We can go.
Yeah. So, for example, you know, the area I used to live is quite poor. You know, it was quite rough. You know, in the UK we call it rough, like poor and crime. And the school wasn't that great. You know, luckily we moved into a good area. You know, on a property in a decent area, and the postcode.
How though? How did you do that?
It's by moving. It's by, you know, working hard.
No. I mean, how did your family necessarily get into a better position?
I guess emotional Democrat doesn't want to interrupt my man. Interrupted him, huh?
You know what? This country.
But you interrupted me though.
After so many years in this country, you need to upskill. You know, if you don't upskill, you get left out.
Bro.
Right.
All right. So I'm guessing. So my question is, so y'all got your family got yourself into a better position. It was just your mom, just you.
Oh no, me. I don't have my mom here. I don't live here. My mom and dad don't live here. I live here. I came to the UK to join extended family members. So okay. I had no one to depend on. I had to depend on my own, and I have to build my own family on my own. So I know a lot of my friends that are born and raised here. They got their mom and dad, and they're still, you know, depending on the system. So it's all to do with your mind frame, your self-esteem, your environment, and also, you know, your goals, you know, that you set. You know, if you live in this country for so long, you keep doing the same job, you know, you're not looking at, you know, next year or 20 years time, then obviously you're going to get stuck in the same place. You're not going to move anywhere. So you're going to get stuck in the limbo, basically.
Okay. Hey, well, hold on. Let's pass it. Jonathan Miller. Go ahead, Jonathan.
So I was just listening to the discussion. Now I just want to know, where exactly do the panel think that Black people should be? In my family, personally, if I look back, I'm probably 2 generations away from singing "We Shall Overcome."
Oh no, we about a generation and a half, bro.
I'm just like, and then maybe 2 or 3 generations from there, we're back into slavery. Where exactly should we be?
That's a good question. Emotional Democrat, you go. I want to hear your
bro, can
insight.
You stop acting like a female, bro? I don't need no help from you. Lame.
I mean, I can do it if you want me to.
I want to hear emotional since he's emotional.
Good Lord.
I want to see if he has a
I'm
brain.
over here being, think about it. I'm over here being quiet, and the dude,
But now you're being loud now.
female, bro, because you sit up here
you
calling my, you sit up here calling my name like my baby mama,
How am I antagonizing a man by saying I want to hear the man's
thoughts? You sit up here calling. I don't need your help, bro. You acting like my baby mama right now. Get on my dick, shawty.
Oh boy, this guy. I don't know if this guy is a comedian, crunchy black type of guy. Or what? I don't know what this guy is like.
Okay. Okay.
Can I answer that question?
Let's go ahead and change this topic.
Alan,
I can't seem to handle this topic, bro.
Go ahead, Alan. You can answer the question, Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I think we're right where we're supposed to be. In that, if you really look at it, like I said, that we all know people who are Jim Crow era people. So based on the fact that a lot of these systems and the people who are around to really enforce that stuff didn't start dying off till the 80s and 90s, where we are is where we're supposed to be. It's just we need to figure out what we need to do from here. There was no real opportunity for a lot of black folks in the 80s going back.
I'm gonna actually say
what we need.
Alan, we have lost.
I'm sorry.
You went out.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. There was no opportunity for black people to do anything different than what we're doing now. We need to think about ways to going forward, how we can improve ourselves now that there's more opportunities. Okay. And that's where we are. Because, like I said, I was saying with the school example I was giving, again, my school was built in 1921. My school was one of the 2 schools that black kids could even go to prior to Brown versus the Board of Education. There were all these schools in Baltimore, and black people could only go to Frederick Douglass.
Alan, we lost you again, Alan.
That's that side of that's that outside of the grocery store cell phone service, bro.
Right outside of
my man got jokes like Kevin Hart.
That was not that long.
No, we missed a whole 30 seconds.
Yeah, Alan, your phone keeps going in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let me try again. I'm sorry. In Baltimore, we have 2 schools that you are allowed to go to. But prior to Brown versus Board of Education, the school I work at, Fred Douglass, and the other school was Dunbar. So you were not allowed to go to any other school in Baltimore, and that was not that long ago. We have people and alumni who come into our building who are from that era. So since that's not that long ago, we need to take that into consideration and stop worrying about where we are now and where we should be, and worry about what we're going to do going forward, because that's the most important part.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask a question. Do y'all want to switch the conversation to let's say actually geopolitical? Because I don't think.
Yeah, I think we should go back. We should go to Putin and
Hey, let me ask Alan B a question real quick before y'all change. Alan B, what school you teaching in Baltimore?
I'm at Frederick Douglass.
My cousin, she's the manager of student up there at Goddard.
Okay, the Goddard School. Okay.
Oh, maybe you need to enroll, my man.
Bro, can you get out my dick, bro? Do you need some child support or something, bro? You need some child support or something? You need me to hit your cash out so you can go get some regulars?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, send it to me, bro. I'll make sure and put you on the stroll, bro, and put your page up on List Crawler so you can make you some money, bro.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
As long as you're gonna bring that money back to us, bro.
Exactly. He sounds like a dedicated hoe.
Whatever, bro. Hey, bro.
And you sound like a starving comedian.
Hey,
right.
But you need a writer.
Twitter fingers, bro. Twitter fingers, man. So
hold on. One, Mike. Jonathan, you get your question answered, Jonathan? Jonathan, unmute yourself. Jonathan, okay.
Yeah, because I actually want to talk about Putin. That's actually legitimate things.
Yeah, bring it back to the geopolitics, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zulu.
All right, because as I've been looking into this, right, the station with the war. My question is necessary. What is most people in America, and how does it going to probably affect Americans and also quote unquote Africans? Because from what I'm understanding, Africa just accepted a lot of money. I think it was Ghana, Nigeria. Accepted a lot of money from the U.S. necessarily. But I'm trying to figure out, how much money did they accept, and what did they accept this money for?
58 billion.
What?
but it was only 52 countries. So they gave each country like $1 billion, and they promised the investment. You get what I'm saying? So they didn't really give a lot of money. They had 52 representatives come from Africa. You get what I'm saying? And then, but instead of them saying what can they work with Africa to do, what I'm saying, all they offered them was $1 billion apiece in aid. And all these other countries, Russia, China is over there building infrastructure. America wants to keep their finger in America and African ass by giving them aid, sending them free money, and then promising them investment. Because one of the companies that I share freight with, they're talking about from General Electric that they got a different name that they're using. They're trying to ship off some of the business for. What you say now?
Yeah, they got share companies all over West Africa.
They got to share companies, yeah. So what they're trying to do is try to give them some washer and dryers. And the reason why that doesn't make any sense, because if you don't have the infrastructure that your country don't even have, that they haven't rolling, they can stop having rolling blackouts. What's the point of sending these type of units over there that sucks up so much energy? Because of course they're not gonna send the energy saving. All they're trying to do, and I'm telling y'all, because they got a yard full of them. They're trying to give off the surplus. They're not trying to give the energy saving products to ship them over there to Africa. They're trying to give the surplus. So they gave them 58 billion. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get them to buy the surplus, bro. So when you hear them making these speeches, they're not saying the nuts and bolts. And by me being in logistics, just on this subject now, on the other things I don't know. But I know when it came to this General Electric thing with the washer and dryers, I know that for a fact, because they're pushing the part of this facility is that part is going to Africa and this part is staying to the United States, because it's a different shipping code to ship something overseas, and they shipping off the SS products that use the most energy. So
it's like international welfare, right?
Africa. They actually shitting on Africa at the same time. They gave them $1 billion for them to buy bullshit products and aid for America to keep trying to operate in their system. But Russia and China is offering infrastructure. You can't beat that.
Infrastructure at a price.
Yes, at a price, bro. Everything ain't nothing in this world.
Ain't nothing for free.
Right.
And people try to make it seem as if China is trying to debt trap people in Africa, when when you really break down the numbers, the true debt trap are the former colonial powers and the Europeans, who are charging astronomical interest on a lot of those loans. Chinese don't even really charge huge interest. They'll just stretch out the loans. They won't let you default, but they'll stretch out the loan and stuff like that. And they only make about 1.7% of the total debt in Africa. So, that's just a talking point that the West uses against China. And I think a lot of our people have digested that and made that a part of our talking points.
But Alan, do you know what China's really doing? They're building transportation systems across Africa for not for the purpose of the Africans.
It doesn't matter what they're doing.
It doesn't matter why they build it, bro.
But why don't you let me tell you first before you can tell?
You're right. Who are you talking to like that, bro? Because you said this in my face. You wouldn't.
Man, come on, man. You be quiet in my face. So stop.
Really, bro?
Yeah.
Really, bro?
Anyway, let me just say this.
You talk the most shit. You talk the shit to him. You talk the shit to the other dude, bro.
Come on.
He condescending,
I mean, are
He's
these two? Hey, Dennis, are these two the house comedians?
No, we're not.
I mean, come on.
Well, let him.
You just a clown, bro.
Okay. Well, let me say what I'm going to say, then you can say what you guys say afterwards. But
let's pass the mic.
Let me just say that China.
Hold on, Al. Go ahead, Al.
Okay, thank you. Now, China. They're
Al, bro.
I am Al.
No,
what
you're
you talking about?
You're Al.
Dinas, can I please finish the sentence I was trying to say?
Nobody don't want to listen to you. You can't get the hint.
Oh,
Read the
my
room,
God.
bro.
I actually want to hear what he had to
Read the room, bro.
Boy, I'm about to in a minute, believe me.
You're a clown, bro.
Let him finish.
Okay, thank you. Now, they're actually building this transportation system around Africa for their benefit, so that they can get around quicker and better, and they can get the resources that they need, because they're the ones building cell phones, computers, and everything else. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, but
I think the African Union. I don't know if it's the Chinese that actually doing it, or the African Union, or the Chinese is doing it through the African Union initiative, and that's what I see. I don't know if Dynas might be able to bring that up, but most of the infrastructure project that going on, the intra-African project that's going on is African Union initiative. It's like 2060, something like that. So that might be the Chinese money pumping in, but obviously we rather have the Chinese money than the loan shark, because the US aid is the loan shark of Africa. I don't know if you know that.
Correct.
Yeah.
15%, bro. They charge on interest. They charge 15% interest on on loans, dude.
Exactly.
15%.
So which one would you rather take? Would you rather take US aid or the Chinese loan?
I'd rather do what the Japanese did and build up my own infrastructure, so I won't have to depend on anybody.
But
It's actually you do have that option.
You ain't got that option, bro.
You do. If you have a mind and you have people, you have that option.
Hold on. Give me a second. No, because give me a second, bro. This is how I want this to be a learning lesson. This is the stupidity of dumbness right here, right?
Yep.
Because and I'm explaining to you why this man is dumb. When Japanese did it first off, they were left alone. There was no imperial power looking to take over.
They had gone to war with Russia,
bro. That was before.
And they got. How did you think they had the infrastructure to go to war with Russia?
Are you gonna overspeak me, bro?
Well,
you keep doing it though. You keep doing it.
Stop being emotional. Just go ahead.
No, you're not emotional, bro. You
bro,
just
bro,
a bitch,
let other people say, yeah.
Bro, just go finish what you were saying.
Bro, like I've been said, like I said, the reason is we simply need to. Oh my bad, I got off topic because we were originally talking about what is it, the Japanese thing. So what was the original topic about?
This is the stupidity of dumbness. This is what this is.
Back on topic. Okay. The simple thing is like all infrastructure they build in that country is gonna cost something. Nobody's doing nothing for free, bro. Don't nobody like you, man. Don't nobody. Let's be honest. Don't nobody like you, bro. So you doing something, you're gonna do it for money. The reality is, bro, you getting a better deal than doing it for the Chinese than doing it for Europeans, because the Europeans are not going to let you necessarily rise because it's competition, bro. It's a zero. They
didn't want the Asians to rise, but they said, "Hell, we're gonna do it."
They gave the infrastructure that got in China was given them by the US, bro.
But the Chinese have a history of building thousands of years.
They wouldn't have had it unless it was built the same way the
Japanese for the manufacturing, but before that, they still were able to make their own guns.
Factual history. You talking about what you want?
You're talking about that welfare victim mentality. That's what you're talking about.
Factual history is not how you want it to be, bro.
You ain't ready for leadership, sir.
You're acting like a woman, bro.
You're why Africa can't get out the rut. You're supposed to take your country, take your brightest minds, and tell them to study engineering and get it together. You're acting like a woman right now.
You see why this is a problem, right? Like we're talking about structural, actual things, that nuts and bolts of how you actually get a nation on the ground. This boy talking about,
and you don't know what you're talking about.
Spiritual goodness, bro.
You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, let's hear some sensibility right here.
It clearly ain't you, bro.
When you need infrastructure, it doesn't matter why the Chinese are building infrastructure. The problem is that there are many African countries and Caribbean countries, for that matter, who are in need of infrastructure. And for whatever reason they're building it, it hasn't been built yet. If the Chinese can help you fast track and get that infrastructure built at a reasonable price, then it makes sense to go along with that, so that Africa and the Caribbean can move on into modernity. If you do not have infrastructure, it inhibits you from doing a whole lot of other things. You know, even defending yourself is more difficult if you have nothing but dirt roads.
You can't do nothing without infrastructure.
So you need infrastructure.
And in terms
the Chinese are willing to build it for their own purposes, and it mutually benefits the African countries and the Chinese, then everybody's the better for it.
I agree with that.
The Turkish actually doing a lot inroad in Africa as we're speaking, very silently as well, and that's because a lot of African country finds out to have a deal with the Turkish is actually better than some of the Western countries and the Chinese.
Yeah, the Turks trying to rebuild that Ottoman Empire. They even talked about that.
It's simple because, but when it comes to the Europe and the European countries, it's a zero-sum game, bro. If Africa gets its stuff up together, necessarily, that means that's less goods that the Europeans can buy and sell to different people. And the reality is, who has a bigger market, Africa or China? Africa or Europe? Who has more people, Africa or Europe? who has more resources, Africa or Europe. They're fighting for their very survival, bro. They're not gonna let you do any damn thing, bro.
Well, the Asians, see, they didn't think like that. They said, we're going to do our thing.
This is.
Let me read this comment, man. Hold on, bro. Let me read this comment from Ola Samba.
My friend,
he said, "That's not true. I have GE stock. So what you saying? They shouldn't give Africa ish? No, bro. I'm not saying they shouldn't give Africa nothing. I'm saying that they gave Africa $1 billion and selling them and giving them a discount on shitty equipment. They're keeping the good stuff for America." They're selling African. They got a whole shipment yard, bro. The whole thing is filled up. I can see it. You can. And I'm telling you, all of some that you can tell by the shipping codes. These are the products that been sitting out here on this yard for 5 or 10 years. The same way how they have cars. Maybe a lot of y'all don't know they have cars sending these football, like 10 football side field places that after they sit for so long, they ship them off to other countries when they can't sell them in the United States. So they're shipping products that's old and it takes a lot of energy to push these products. But if you don't have the infrastructure for the electricity rolling blackouts, those products is gonna make it worse. So actually, they're selling products that's gonna hurt the electric grid. But continue, my brother.
Do they have to buy them?
Bro, that's it. That's it. First off, see, this is like that stupidity part. Like for first off, right? Because like Mexico, right? They just quote unquote told the U.S. we're not gonna buy your GMO seeds. That's because they know the seeds are GMO. When you sell GMO seeds that destroy, they usually destroy the food. It destroyed the food.
Somebody got some background noise.
That was Alan. I'm muted. That was Alan.
Yeah, so basically they just told them no, we're not buying them GMO seeds because they just found out about the GMO seeds, like literally, and they're about to go to the United States necessarily is about to have a meeting about that, right? Like currently this week is happening, right? Now, do the Africans that know that's about to have this thing sold to them, do they know it's going to overtax their system? Do they know that? Just like when the white people came down and then they offered the Indians blankets, did they know they had smallpox in it?
See, the thing about it is with the agreement they made, they had to make agreement to get the 58 billion. So think about it. The difference between the Mexican part, what you said is true. The United States wasn't offering them aid at the same time. So it's almost like the United States saying, man, hey, I'm gonna give you $1 billion to buy these bullshit goddamn product. So when they look at it, be like, okay, we sold this that they were just gonna mark off and they were gonna have to destroy. But they selling it to countries, these out of the 52 countries that they're selling it to, maybe 4 of the countries have stable electric grid that don't have rolling blackouts. Only 4.
So you're saying Africans are dimwits?
No, I'm saying that they made a deal once the agreement with the 58 billion was in the deal to buy product. It's the same way how when China was making that deal when Trump put the tariffs on them, and they said, well, to lift some of these tariffs, you got to buy so many grains of oats or whatever, you know what I'm saying, for the farmers. So it's in the deal. So I'm not gonna say they dim with it, but they did make a bad deal because they don't understand that the product that they get.
They don't understand the nuance, bro. It's nuance. Like for like this, like, if I'm a gunman, right? So like I understand what a 300 blackout is. I even know what to the spin on that bullet that need to have, right? So if you come to me and offer me necessarily a 300 blackout, but I'm gonna ask you what's the torque ratio, if you don't know that, you about to get fucked, bro.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Just in the same way that I know for a fact that the billion that they gave to them African countries, that I know for a fact, bro, that money's not gonna reach them people, bro, and it's not gonna go for infrastructure. If it's not going for infrastructure, it's not really going for those people, basically, right?
No,
You're gonna end up in some politicians.
I don't believe
gonna have that billion,
it's
and they're
gonna come
gonna
with
use it for
string.
whatever they're gonna use it for, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna come with string. I mean, you already seen what they're doing. They're promising an African government money, but before that money touched their hand, they're already going around trying to promote LGBT. Yeah. So and they already said to the African leaders, "Oh, look, we're not telling you what to do anymore. You know, we want to be partners, we want to be friends. We understand how you felt about the colonial days. You know, we all saw it, and then they turn around and they go over there like just a few months later and send Kamala Harris to Africa to promote LGBT before they get the money. So how can you trust people like that? It's all common sense.
They did
You
the
know?
same with Obama. When they sent Obama over there, and he did the exact same thing. So
Yeah, he's the worst thing.
And like I said, I work in the medical field. That's my like chosen profession. I did paramedic and I did some other things. I'm gonna leave it at that, right? So I know for a fact when I'm seeing them ship like medical goods that we know it's old medical goods over there, I'm like these is old silicone. Not what's the shit we use for liquid?
Yeah, but what's old to us is state of the art to them.
Shut up, bro.
I mean,
why that response? Why that response, man?
I mean, the EU started doing this. What America done? The EU done this before the Ukraine war. What the EU did, they invited all the African leaders to Europe, and they promised them, gold, and everything, just before the Ukraine war started. And guess what? As soon as the Ukraine war started, they forgot about Africa and they started focusing on Ukraine. But I know why they did that. It's for the vote in the UN. So the African leaders, I think they thought, hang on a minute, you're only inviting us here because you know that war is going to start. It's already starting anyway. So you want the vote.
That war is coming, bro. That's not even. But they're already hitting Syria already, from my understanding. They hit Syria. The U.S. is hitting Syria to stop the Russians from coming down there now. So the World War III has already popped off. It just ain't officially popped off.
And they've been saying that since the end of World War II.
Anyway.
America can't afford a war.
Afford and going to do it. Actually, my bad. I'm gonna say it to you. Actually, wrong. That's the wrong answer, bro. America cannot afford to not afford this war, bro.
Fair point. They
can't afford it. Even the UK.
No. They can't afford not to afford this war. That's the difference, bro.
I mean,
if the petrodollar go down, what do you think the United States is gonna allow our petrodollar to go down, bro? They cannot afford this war not to have it, bro.
Actually, it doesn't matter because the small hats own all the banks and all the currency. So,
do you think people? What is more respected, the money or a bullet?
In the world stage and given history, the bullet.
No.
Okay, and the U.S. has the most bullet.
You're wrong. It's the money. It's the money. People go to war for money.
They go to war for money, but
the bullet made them accept the money, though.
But as long as you got the sword, you can always take the money, bro. Rome was built on two things, bro. It was built on warfare and slavery, bro.
Right.
Let me explain something to y'all, man. Let me explain something to y'all real quick, man. The thing about when y'all talk about the money, money is just something that they tell you. Well, this is the thing. We have this conversation all the time, and I ask each one of y'all brothers. You know what I'm saying? If money didn't exist, could you still go out and drive your car? Could you still go put gas in the tank? You get what I'm saying? Now they do it what they call a transaction. The transaction makes you think that money goes away. So say for instance that the United States dollar go to zero. Them aircraft carriers that got 16 F-35, 12 goddamn Apache helicopters, you know what I'm saying? 12 destroyer strike package is still gonna run. You think that nuclear engine is still gonna stop running? You get what I'm saying? You still gonna think you think grass gonna stop producing fruit? So what I'm saying is that before the United States loses, this is what it's called being the bully. Before the United States loses its presence on the world, they'll destroy the whole goddamn place. The United States is the person at the playground that's saying, "Hey man, it's my ball." You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna play. That's the United States.
I think you just said something smart today, because if the money runs out, as long as you've got that gun in your hand, you can take what you want.
Well, in other words, this is all about hegemony. This is about hegemony, whether it be economic or whether it be military hegemony. America has to be a hegemon, and so that is what they're willing to fight and die for. And we've already done this. We already been here before. We already talked about mutually assured destruction. We've already had the Cold War, in which we talked about how if the world went communist, we blow the whole thing up. We've already been here, so that is how we are, and that is how the policy is in this country. So yeah, you may have a point.
But let's ask the real question, y'all. Let's ask the real question. If there was a nuclear war right now, and America launches their nuclear weapons, North Korea launches their, France launches their, Australia launches their, China launches theirs, North Korea launches their, everybody launches their nuclear missile. What country is prepared to withstand the nuclear blast? Now, a better question is, what country has the most bunkers?
This might shock you, but actually it'll be the African and other third world countries that'll benefit from a nuclear war.
Well, no, I'm saying, no, they won't. How can they benefit?
Let me tell you why. Because they're already used to living without high technology, so they know how to survive.
But hold on, though. See, this is what you don't know about nuclear weapons. See, the first thing is the blast. You know, the United States got over 465 just silos across the United States. We ain't even counting the ones that's in each submarine. They say it's 12, but unclassified, it might be 22 of them. And each one of them have warheads that's 10 times. Each warhead in each submarine is 10 times stronger than the one dropped on Hiroshima. So what it is, it's not the fall up. It's not the fall off of the bomb. It's the nuclear winter. It's what gets in the air. The African black people won't survive because the air would be polluted. So that's why America build these bombs. Even the one that's in Swiss, those was American. The Army engineers went over there and helped them build it. So what I'm saying is that they are preparing for the worst because America has gotten to the point that they have, like a lot of people say, you know, look back at history, and they have seen the way all these other nations have failed. But the one thing no nation did was sit back and say, well, let's go with destruction and let's plan to win a destruction war. See, that's the difference. You get what I'm saying? We talk about the end game with movies, but who is actually preparing for end game? And it's the United States. That's why they got bunkers all in the mountains with radioactive doors, radio coverings, all that. They're full of masks. They got it all to a T if something happens. So the United States, if they ever get to the point where they lose anything, they ain't got 17. They ain't got 17 warships out there. Like, it's not another country that has not even we're talking about the nemesis. One Navy warship, aircraft carrier is nobody else have anything that even compete with it. That thing holds at least 60 warplanes. So what I'm saying, all I'm saying is this: America is not gonna fail. If it fails, it's gonna take everybody with them. It's gonna be that Nino Brown shit. If I go down, I'm taking everything with me.
You forget that the U.S. and the U.K. are tied at the hip. So
yeah, that's what I think y'all missing.
Oh, they gonna bring some of them in. What I'm saying is the United States gonna bring their homeboys in to be in those bunkers. That's why they got them all up in the U. See, this is the thing, man. I was in Missouri, and a lot of people don't know. You get what I'm saying? They got underground. We talking about 50. It was at least 50 feet in the ground under the mountains. That they got a cold storage about the size of about 10 football fields just of meat underground in the mountains.
Crypto Black is right. The Russians got more nukes when it comes to that than America. You know.
What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if everybody lunches they miss. It's the people that have the bunkers that's gonna survive. Russia don't have those bunkers. The United States have those bunkers.
Yeah, they got bunkers.
Yeah, they do, bro.
I'm not saying they don't have bunkers. We talking about who has the most. You get what I'm saying?
It doesn't really matter because the bunkers are for the government anyway, ain't for the common people.
Well, that's my whole point. Well, you're making my point, my brother. What I'm saying is that if they don't stay on top, they gonna fuck it up for everybody. You get what I'm saying?
But you gotta understand the whole world dynamics. Governments it's all about what they do, their interests. Everybody else just happens to be here.
I understand that, and that's why I gave the analogy earlier about the soccer teams where the people in the audience in the stands are fighting against each other, but the owners, while the people in the stands fighting against each other, tearing each other up, the owners got in the same car, the same bulletproof vest, minivans, and they drove off together and left the people in the stands fighting against each other. That's why I gave the analogy, everything. I appreciate all of y'all bringing it back to that. So just like you said, they're going to look out for their interests. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to pull, if France with the United States or is UK and Canada, those are they going to bring in. You get what I'm saying? All their smart people. I know y'all don't watch movies when they have martial law. They go pull a certain smart people. They got seeds, they got bunkers. And then next to the meat part, they had a whole thing. It looked like it was about 2 football fields full of seeds. So they are prepared for the worst. And they recycling this meat. We go through there and recycle this meat out of there every 5 years. They don't even sell this stuff, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're preparing for a doomsday.
So that's what somebody in the chat said. They said that Russia's surrounded because you got the European, different nations ready to attack them on that side. And then you got the UK and French jump off points all around the globe, plus the US bases and all around the globe. So Russia's surrounded. It's just that Russia got the power. Not really.
It's checkmate on both sides, but you
got no. Hey, actually, and looking at this Ukraine war, it goes to show that Russia don't know how to go to war. I mean, that's the straight up truth. They can't mess with the U.S.
Russia, I'm gonna pass it to. Well, hold on, one mic. I'm gonna pass it to Anza Kwanzaa, but I don't even think Russia has formally declared war against Ukraine. It's a special.
They still call it a special operation.
Yeah,
they wanted that shit. They want that country. They just blow that bitch up. They really
that's what I'm saying.
They want it.
Hold on, one mic. Go ahead, Anza Kwanzaa. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it. So I've heard some of the things that are being said. I just wanted to make a couple of things from as far as I'm aware that I'm aware aren't true. So one of the first things I heard was regarding the seeds and some of these bunkers. Some of these bunkers, although they're actually located in the West, they're actually owned by international NGOs or not-for-profits. This is more to do with research and allowing scientists to have access to the variety of seeds if anything was to happen. So although they might be located in a specific country, they don't necessarily belong to that country alone per se. This also goes for situations with for example, some libraries don't have all of their material buried underneath the actual library. Some of them are actually located in other destinations. Some of them are hidden in Switzerland. And unfortunately, what's actually caused a lot of confusion is that a lot of these places where they are storing these things, unfortunately, some of them are actually owned by private companies. And because some are owned by private companies, this leads to confusion in regards to who actually owns it, who has the power, etc. But the people who actually put it in there are usually scientists, funded by non-governmental organizations. Unfortunately, some of these are also linked to some of these very wealthy people who call themselves philanthropists, etc. However, the basic premise of this is essentially to have some sort of bank in regards to any living organism and to be able to maybe harvest some sort of DNA in the future. Some people argue that's what the Egyptians did, but that's another question. So I just wanted to make that point.
Hey, Anza, who you think is protecting them though? You're right, because when I was down there, people from all time, and whoever said they don't have underground cities where they store it, man, they got them in Missouri. You can actually pull it up on the internet. The one we go to is in Joplin, Missouri, where they got the underground meat. I don't been there at least 30 or 40 times, so it's just shocking how people talk about something that they don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you, even though you have them NGOs, these are the people that let me explain it to you like this, Mr. Kwanzaa. The NGO people are like the housekeepers. It's the military, it's the United States military out there with the M16s and the M3s protecting it. You get what I'm saying? Those NGO people, they're the ones that just keeping it up. They're the one that's rotating the stock. Like when the person brought me my bills and I had to take it, and let me tell you something, I had to take the meat to be discarded. That's what the meat had to go to get discarded. So I got paid $2,500 to go take a pallet a full trailer of discarded meat that they're rotating out, that they don't did all type of work on it. And when they pulled out the meat, it had different colors on it. Some still smelled good. Some of that stuff was 5 or 10 years old and it smelled fresh today. It had different colors on it, different powders on it, all this stuff. They even got trailers down the blood bank, dog. And next time I'm telling you, I'm gonna take pictures of it. I always send stuff to diners like that. They have blood bank trailers. When you wouldn't look inside of it, it's got 3 or 4 inverters on there and stuff, and it's full of blood in there, man. They're specially trained.
Like he should know this because this got built in necessarily that was the 1980s during the Cold War. So he should really know this if he was actually here and living in America, bro. So that either means he don't understand that or he just been under a rock for a long time.
Yeah.
No.
They're just the housekeeper. What I'm trying to explain to him, you're right. The NGOs are running the program because they're the housekeepers, but it's the military. When I pull up to that, when you got to go through 3 gates, and every gate you pull up is 2 military people out there with the Humvees out there with the goddamn guns on it, and they got them with the M16. So think about this right here, my brother. If something was to pop off, who you think finna run the show? The NGOs sit up there playing with goddamn pumpkin seeds, or the goddamn the jarhead right there with the M16?
I'm afraid Simp is right on this sale. And if you look at Switzerland, that's where most of our African money is buried anyway. You know, if we can actually get most of that money that the African leaders are hiding in Switzerland, we probably wouldn't even be needing to beg America for money.
You wouldn't even need your money, bro. You would have all your money. Like, especially talking about West Africa. West Africa, half of the resource that's in West Africa is not even in West Africa. It's in France and Switzerland, bro. That's a well-known thing, bro.
And most of our corrupt leaders, that's why they're hiding their money from. They're bringing the money to Switzerland, and it is hidden there. Look at the guy in Central Africa. I mean,
They don't check my bags. They don't check my bags.
Yeah, you know the guy. His son is living lavish, like in Switzerland, and to the point where Switzerland is like, you know, we need to watch out this guy. You know, the way his people are living in Africa and the amount of money that he actually got here, you know, is actually, you know, we can't justify. I mean, Sim is right. The NGOs are the foot soldiers for the West in Africa. They've been doing it for a long time, and we think, especially those village people in Africa, they always think these NGOs are there helping them, but they actually are spies. They're out there taking data, spying on us. Sorry.
Let me let you finish. Sorry, apologies.
No, Karen, go on.
Yeah, no. So I just wanted to quickly reply to make some sort of rebuttal to the points that were made. So firstly, regarding the as to mention, I've visited the US, but I'm not an expert, but as far as I'm aware, in the US is very structured in regards to if anything does exist to the sort that has been mentioned before regarding things being stored underground, etc. Usually, in the case of the US, things are usually third party, meaning it's a private company. Now, the connection with that to the actual military, that's something, of course, linked to the government. However, it would be. I understand what you're saying. However, the intentions of the private company could be something completely and maybe even more sinister regarding why it's actually there, other than just as some sort of backup in regards to resources for the war.
That's right.
So it's a simplification to see it now in this context now of the war of Russia going on, and now link that to the, you know, we don't know this, that it could be so much more sinister. And
do you know the UK and some of the European countries, they used to have, you know, direct involvement in Africa, you know, with the government, but they realized 100%. Is a wrong move. So what they had to do, they have to privatize a lot of these companies and work with them hand to hand. So basically the accountability is been taken away. So they have no accountability. So they could just be on the sideline, just, you know, just in case anything goes wrong, they can make a move, or they will send someone else to take over the leader, like this coup d'etat that we always talk about. So it's the tactics that they're using. It's only the French that's heavily involved in terms of government-wise in Africa directly, with the private sector also, but the UK, America, and other countries, they send the private sector, you know, for less accountability, you know, do the dirty job. You know, they get the military to back them up. They got the NGOs over there as their foot soldiers, you know, and they get all the data. You know, anything goes wrong, bam, they're there.
And
Hey, Al, I
just
got a question to ask you though. I mean, it's a quick question. If basically because you live in the UK, so do you know what actually keeps the UK economy actually alive and running? Because you don't have any actual resources.
could I answer that? Can I
Yeah.
answer that? So, so just to give off my credentials, I've done a master's and a bachelor's in international relations and economics and finance for development. So this is actually quite my field. So,
computer
of course,
science paramedic.
So yeah, so in specifically linking it to the UK. Of course, you have to look at it retrospectively and bear in mind the existence of slavery, etc., and how certain institutions were able to have been essentially flourished and be able to build and gain the essence of the capital that they were actually able to even invest in other endeavors. However, at this current point in time, the main ways the United Kingdom actually has been able to actually continue in terms of economic influence. Firstly, it has to do, of course, with business, but mainly finance. The world of finance is heavily influenced by the British. The emergence of the financial capital in East Asia and Singapore was heavily financed with the existence of the financial sector in the UK. And when you bear that in mind, and also take into consideration the physical capital that was taken out of these lands, and the fact that there's actual physical gold in these places, and they were able to actually leverage this by giving loans to people, making loans with certain other companies and other Europeans as well, giving them loans.
To cut it short, it's what we call service economy. You know, the UK is based on service economy. Period.
Or to cut it even shorter, empire.
You could have said service economy. I could have known that.
No. I would even say just making that's a simplification. You have to bear in mind you're trying to simplify a very deep, a very
complex
deep
situation. True.
Exactly.
True.
You can't simplify it like that, because there's elements of the British economy which are completely dependent on natural resources. Whether you believe it or not, the UK has natural resources. We frack just off the north of Scotland. We frack for gas. It's a huge political issue now when you take into consideration the whole zero emissions narrative and everything. There's also the fact that these companies also during the period of colonialization actually owned land within these colonies and actually were able to extract goods, which also allowed those companies to actually exist. Does that make sense? So this specific money was able to finance the financial sector,
and that's still ongoing too.
Exactly. So the money has entered the economy, and the money is still flourishing within the economy, and the money never really leaves the economy. That's the advantage of the British. The British lend money mostly to British people, and those British people keep the money within the system. It's not a good example of this. A good example is a lot of other European countries. What they actually do is they outsourced to the point where the money leaves the economy and does not stay in the economy. Whereas in the UK specifically in regards to China uses, and that's why they have such a huge stronghold in influencing why they want Hong Kong to remain a democratic and kind of in essence a singular entity, is because it benefits them, because they could use it as an offshoot to be able to funnel funds out of China into UK. So they've created a system throughout years and years of creating small enclaves in every single country. There seems to be some sort of English breakout or English connection. Whether even in the French elements, you've got Cameroon, where people have been fighting for years, the French and the English. You even have it in the French tried to do it in Nigeria with the Biafra war so that's how they were able to create it. They conquered in essence, they conquered and divided. However, the essence of the money that they have in their system now is because they were able to keep it within the system, and they do not lend money out to developing countries. They do not. Send
private
over,
sector initiative.
Money they send over to African countries, and this is a fact. So please take your time and look this up. Don't let anybody tell you that money sent over to Africa, the majority of it that goes to Africa, is actually sent from the West is through aid. Aid is not the main income flow to Africa. The biggest income flow to Africa is remittance. Money being sent over by a diaspora sending money back home far outstrays FDI. If I'm not mistaken, it outweighed it almost by 2 billion in the last 4 years.
Correct.
So this is money that Africans themselves with family over are working and sending money back home. This is same in South Asia and even bigger in South America. So the money actually leaves in that way. And further, sorry, just to make a final point. In addition to remittance being so big, another thing that people are actually looking into specifically in the sector of international development and financial international development is that foreign direct investment regarding companies leaving the West, or not leaving the West, entering the West, and kind of, for example, if HSBC opens a bank in Rwanda or the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is not now being classed as the most important form of foreign direct investment. And they're even trying to include remittance inside the realms of foreign direct investment, because a lot of the money that these African diaspora are sending back to these developing countries are actually being the main starter funds for people to be able to start industries. People that are sending money back home are allowing their family members to buy taxis, become taxi drivers, buy this machine, maybe become a baker, buy land, maybe build a house, maybe build a hotel. That's where the majority of the money is ending up. And that's one of the reasons why the West specifically is being argued on not trying to include remittance into the realm of foreign direct investment, because if that is, then it will actually highlight the existence of how much money is going back to Africa, and the whole narrative of Africa needing money only through aid will change. That's my perspective.
Yes, and also the aid budgets that was announced, for example, last year. Majority of that money, just to confirm what you said, is being used locally in the UK, and that is there for housing, those asylum seekers that crossing the boat. I don't know if you heard about it recently, Zan. They're using that money to pay for their hotel while they process their claim, and that's been confirmed. And in fact, that budget is it's very, very contagious. A lot of British people don't want that money to go to Africa because they think it's benefiting Africans, and a lot of English people are being homeless in the UK. They should use that money here. But when they start realizing that money is actually not going to Africa, is actually staying here, helping these migrants that crossing the boat from France, a lot of them actually start calming down. And also, to add up to what you said, is the speculation also, which is a very, the service economy, full stop, because most product in the UK is speculated in London, so they make the price of every good anyway. So
what you two guys basically said, it all adds up to small hat bankers running the show, and their economy is how everybody in the West makes money. And you saw that economy their control of the economy being demonstrated when Russia invaded Ukraine, and they said that they control half the world, more than half of the world's economy. Small hat bankers.
Right, and that's what I said. That's what I said.
That's
what I said the other time about the BRICS and that.
That's a complete that's oversimplification again.
Yes, oversimplification, bro.
It's more right. And I agree. That's why I said it. That's the simple way of putting it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I said the last time when we had this conversation, that us talking about the oil, there's a lot of these companies, I'm telling you now, they move into these minerals in Africa. This is what this African scramble is all about, because they need these minerals to make the electric cars, the car batteries, and so on. The fossil fuel economy we're moving away from it. So that's why I said, if Africa were to be a strong member of the BRIC, and our leaders are not that much, they're not so stupid, they know how to lobby to get into an organization or a club properly, they will hugely benefit from it, where they can actually have a strong hold in there. At the moment, all we need is people that come into the continent to extract, to manufacture, so we can have the output instead of having to take any loans from any country. It's very simple. Our solution is simple, but we can't do it because we don't have the will to do it.
No, I have another question now. This is for I guess it's just for most people in the panel. So what's the diaspora necessarily that live in, to say, I don't know, all these different countries? What are y'all planning on doing? Because when things get left, what's y'all backup plan? Because apparently I don't know if you're gonna plan on staying in your country of origin, or what y'all trying to go do necessarily. Do y'all even have a sense of what y'all gonna do?
It don't matter for them. If the infrastructure is not there, you can't listen to the thing. This is the thing. Unless Africa can refine their own product and make the product in Africa, it doesn't matter what the diaspora do when they come back or with the remnants or whatever.
You misunderstand what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. I'm gonna bring it back to that. But what I'm saying is that the people can only do so much if they come back, because they still will have to work with what's there. So what I'm saying is that just like how he tried to simplify, which is fine because he just gave a simple answer. But what I'm saying is that if the electricity grid is not there, if the building is not there to refine the products, then Africa will always be a country that's got all the minerals and everything, and they selling it off raw, but they buying it back 10 times. So what I'm saying is that with all the stuff that the diaspora and everybody is sending back over there, they're just touching individual people. That's not building anything. Like you said, it
builds.
Let me say last point. What I'm saying is that they help somebody, just like in your own words, they're helping people buy boaters. They're helping people open up little shops and whatever. That's
the
not
economy.
That's not
economy.
That is your economy, though.
That's fine. But what I'm saying is that
Simp is making a good point.
all the other countries is making billions off your natural resources. So if the people that's living in America and UK said, okay, you know what, instead of sending money back for taxis and
that was my question. I'm saying you going off on something too, but that was what I asked.
I was bringing it back full circle. If they're not going to use that money to build an infrastructure that can refine the minerals and all the special stuff that's growing out the ground, then it's gonna steady be same old, same day. But go ahead, continue, my brother.
When my question I asked, I said, well, now what it is now when World War III pop off? Now that's what I said, right? What do the people in the diaspora plan on doing? That's what I'm asking the question. Now I understand what you're saying. That's one topic, but what we're saying is when shit start hitting the fan, or what I'm basically asking is anybody in here actually making any preparations?
No, they plan on watching. That's what they plan on doing.
No, I mean, for me,
I agree with him on that.
For me, I'm not gonna come to on the internet and split all my private business. But I always, as a human being, I always have plan B and always try and think ahead because I learned from my past, and. That's the blessing of what they call IQ, because if you can't do that, then you're always going to be in trouble. Then you always start asking yourself, what have I done wrong? The reality is, if we, as going back to what Sim said, I know it's very simple. If you look at all the studies that have been done about Africa in China and Africa and all this development that's been going on. In fact, if you look at it today and compare it to the 60s, it haven't made any difference, really, truly, in terms of inputs. The reason why that is because most of our economy is based on extraction, and you cannot build a solid economy on extraction. I mean, look at South America, extraction economy. Look at like Asia, they based on service economy. You look at Europe, service. Look at America, both. They kind of mix it. We can't just keep exporting our raw material and end up buying the finished product back and think things gonna change. It will never change. If you keep doing the same thing all the time and expect different results.
Africa, they don't know how to manufacture. That's why they got to export raw material.
That's the problem right there.
And that's why I said the Asians, they learn how to manufacture even without the white man.
No. Hold on, bro. Hold on. I'm not gonna let you say that, bro, because all of the inventions that they have down there, they got them from the white man specifically. Bro.
Exactly.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Hold on. Let me finish, bro. All of the chips that they have, bro, those companies were brought there by BMX, with BMI, which was a United.
So you said chips. I didn't say chips.
Bro. You said technology, bro.
No. I said manufacturing.
Manufacturing. How you think they manufacture? Are you playing with me?
I'm not. Do you know the history of China? Have you seen their stuff that they built? Great Wall.
But what I'm saying, this is one of them things where two people can be right at the same time. The other guy is right when he said after the war came over, the United States did come over there and help build it up. So they did come over there and build infrastructure.
Mainly
Now
Japan.
the Chinese people
Japan's situation
the help
is
of the
very unique.
infrastructure, and then they made it to their people to say focus on what we got. They like, okay, with the infrastructure we got, we're gonna make all our people just focus on this, and they built it times 10. So both of y'all are right, you know what I'm saying, what y'all are saying. But what I'm saying that in the beginning, after the war, after America went over there and tore shit up, dropped bombs and all that, they did do what they call reconstruction, bro. Reconstruction. They did the reconstruction and built up certain places, but they won't do that in Africa. They will not do the same because listen to what I'm saying, y'all.
China is kind of doing that now.
But that's what I'm saying. No. They're building up infrastructure as far as living conditions for them to get around to get the minerals. They're not building anything. They're not building anything in China to help the Africans refine their products. They're not doing that.
That's what I said earlier.
And this is why the Dangote, for example, the Dangote refinery is very, very important because, for example, Shell, the Royal Dutch Shell, which is owned by England, the UK and the Dutch. That's in Nigeria and other countries. That's where they extract their oil, and obviously they refine it and sell it back to Nigeria or to other African countries. And however, when that finish, some of their work is going to get caught out. So it's like stuff like that. We need to start changing stage by stage. Start finishing our own product and sell it to ourselves instead of having to let these people come in and take our product and sell it back to us.
But you've got a good point. So I just want to make this point, and I just want, because there are a lot of people that think like me from my generation. So for the first thing I'd like to highlight is, yes, you guys are making it's very true that, of course, the current situation in regards to the economies in the developing countries in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, all of them the minerals are extracted, they're sent over to the West or wherever, and things are created and we purchase it back. That's a very good point, but the important,
don't leave out the 10 times. 10 times the price.
Yeah, that's fine.
But don't leave out North Africa either.
The main thing that we have to remember here, in essence, is the existence of these countries that have had time to be able to create a system and push this system to other countries for them to believe, for them to benefit. And by the time other countries have entered this system, they're already 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 200 to 300 years ahead of people. So an example I would give you here is there are sewers in the United Kingdom that are older than some of the oldest African countries. Literal sewers that are underground, that simply just take water from one person's toilet to a refinery to clean water, to clean the water so it can end up in my tap so I can drink the water. Some of these sewers in London alone are older than the majority of nations that have existed as single nations.
They were built by the Romans.
Period. So when you bear that in mind, it's now unfair for us as Black Africans. Yes, I mean, it's in essence it's good because we're holding our leaders accountable and we feel like we should be going faster than we are. However, the reality of the situation is, even these countries within the West have taken years to be able to reach the point of civilization they are at now. And they have also had the advantage of actually creating these civilizations that we now aspire to be like. So it's unfair for us now to sit here and say we now need to have the same level of advancement within the space of some of these African
Actually, you do, because you look at the Asians as an example. They did it. If the Africans can't do it, then what does that mean? That means maybe they can't do it.
Bro, it's a good point. It's a good point you're making. But let me give you one example. For example, with Japan. Japan is very similar to Germany, because Germany after World War II was completely obliterated into pieces. The reason why those two countries are in the state they are at now is because they essentially had to start their economy from zero. Don't be
But rewind the clock a second. Japan, they had to get their military machine and built that up from somewhere.
No. But the point I'm trying to make is that to the level that we're at now, Japan could not have reached this situation they are at now if it was not for the war. Japan was a very poor country prior to World War II, and Germany was exactly the same. Don't be fooled by the situation they are at now. The reason why they are as wealthy in regards to the development and everything is because they were.
I don't mean to interrupt again, but they weren't poor. Germany was rich, and Japan was well off.
Germany, in comparison to other Western countries in Europe, was not the wealthiest country, and it was.
I didn't say the wealthiest. I said they were wealthy.
No, they weren't, bro. No, they were not, bro. Japan. Hold on, give me 1 second. Before the U.S. came there and they switched their system over from being farmers and samurais. God damn it, bro. They were fucking poor, bro.
Tell me this. How did the?
Let me finish. And then after they got nuclear technology, which was introduced to them, they did not get it. They introduced, right? They bought
the connection isn't the best, bro.
From the United States. They took that shit and went on a war spree for about a good 100 years.
Can I just quickly
lost it all, and it had to.
Can I quickly? Yeah, and that's the point. So when you talk about how these economies were made, the first roads that Japan built were huge and hugely important to be able to facilitate the economy rebooting. The first factories they built were important. These are physical capital essences and inputs into the economy that are essential to be able to allow an economy to flourish. The first factory after World War II for Germany was immense. The level of output and investment that allowed for that to then be put back into the system, allowing people to save in financial institutions.
Pause 1 second.
Savings to then
real quick. Now, with Japan and Germany, as you're saying that they got help from the U.S., which is true, but did the U.S. teach Japan and Germany everything that they knew as far as technology, or did they just reconfigure them for world global economy for creating products that were not military related?
Bro, we'll see. You have to also bear in mind that these countries, when they had to rebuild their economies, they weren't starting necessarily from zero, because they could look over to the US and see, okay, what can we take from them? They were in a situation where they could catch up, but they had also existed within the system to some level or some extent. Does that make sense? So that's why the best example is technology. In regards to motor vehicles, Japan and Germany are the leaders of those industries. Why do you think it is? Americans were making cars way before. But how has it not been that these two countries that were completely obliterated during World War II now?
But see, pause right there too. But see, before World War II, like I was trying to say before, Germany and Japan, they had built up their military machine without the U.S.
Bro,
that takes technology and know-how.
It's like you got like a third grade mental.
No, just say what you got to say. No need for insults. Just say what you got to say.
Before there was one thing, there's something that led to it, bro. I don't know if we gotta keep telling you that, bro. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. They have military machine.
Since you don't understand, I'm explaining to you. Since you don't understand,
tell me what I don't understand first before you start arguing. You don't need to argue.
I'm trying, but if you be quiet, right? Before that was the World War II, bro. China had got money and
we're talking about Japan and Germany.
God damn it, bro. Do you want to talk? Do you want to answer?
I thought you was talking about what I don't understand. We're talking about Germany and Japan.
Be quiet, bro. Like I said, they got industry from the United States. United States came to Japan and told them, you must open up and trade with us. They gave them goods. They gave them factories, things that they did not have. That's when they
exactly
society from being samurais and
exactly. They did it, and Japan did it so well.
That's when they changed.
Exactly, and Japan did it so well to the point where the US even had to ask Japan to stop selling their things in the US because they were becoming so developed. That's how good they got with the help of the US.
Now, what year are we talking about?
Bro, I thought your job was like to research the information for you. If you're that slow, you're not supposed to be.
You're the one trying to impose your ideas on me. I'm asking.
Be here. This is a start.
Maybe you should be back in fifth grade, sir. You should be back in fifth grade.
You shouldn't be here.
Okay, why don't you? No, you're interrupting me. Well, I'm trying to make comments, and you're trying to correct me on something. You're not even explaining yourself well, because I think you don't really know what you're talking about.
Down, bro.
That's what I really think.
That's what you need to do.
Because you're too emotional, sir.
Bro, but just because you get embarrassed doesn't mean I'm emotional. That means you're stupid.
No, that means you're an idiot because idiots get emotional.
Bro, you don't even understand world history. I have to explain
I'm teaching you. You're not teaching me nothing. I'm teaching you. I'm trying to be humble. I'm not trying to call you an idiot like you are.
But you are an idiot, though.
No, you're the idiot.
I'm observing.
Let's figure out who's the idiot. The Germany and Japan build up their military machine.
We're gonna go ahead and
you just asked me the same question.
We're gonna go ahead and end it and move it on. All right, we're gonna move on. I gotta go. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Samir, search for Huru. Peace.
We gone.
Love, brother. Love.